One enemy remaining. Match point.
Their winter has come. Bury them.
God damn it, I hate my internet sometimes. I don't know what the fuck is up with it.
Unless you really mess it up and you take like a very long trade and you're not really able to output enough damage yourself. But essentially, generally, you can just all in and win most of the trades. Let's see what the other bans here are. A lot of focus on the top lane. You see the TF banned away, so giving credit to the Jax to go into the jungle for the side of Gen G as well. Renekton also taken off the cards.
And the key thing here for Gen G is that they can R4 Azir here, and we don't know anything, really, looking at the draft from Gen G. We have our suspicions, sure, but it makes it so hard to actually decide. Like, there's a possibility that it's Rumble support, it's Jax top, Jax jungle, also a possibility.
DK have their suspicions as well,
yes,
about where these things are going.
Because they're banning two top laners.
Spike down
Yeah.
A.
So they're giving a lot of credit to the Draven Rumble bottom lane, and for Cannon to play that Jax. Let's see if that actually does happen. Chovy's just taking a little nap here.
It's just Azir, isn't it?
It's like, oh, I gotta play Azir again.
A fun champion?
Jeez.
Huh. Is it for him, though?
Could be.
Don't know.
Could be.
Still have zero clue.
They're leaving it up to DK to decide that, I think.
Gen G are currently sitting on not a whole lot of engage, but I trust them. Now I'm wondering if this is where like King and Slam the Mel fight. We've identified the problem last time around. We're playing in a Jace. Gragas is really banking on this Jace to go towards the top side of the map, is a really strong pick into that. You can go AP and actually trade very, very consistently with the Jace. I just would have loved, Malphite, even though you're at the risk of it, Jace being swapped and
Rumble top, you're like, oh.
Oh yeah, I guess it's not planned.
Oh,
so I understand why they didn't. And it also provides you with additional engage. I really like this comp from D+. I think they fixed a lot of the issues. The problem is, Nami and Lucian have not been doing great in laning phases, but it's been kind of counteracted by how much agency they have in mid-game and the amount of burst that they have. But if they get run over in the early laning phase, their life is not going to be great. And right now, that is looking like it's pretty likely.
And after all that, it looks like it's just going to be Azir. And why not? It's available. It's solid. Okay. Let's go for the Tristana as well. I mean, 80 carries, especially crit 80 carries, very strong on this patch of 14.6. And we've seen Chovy's Tristana is just kind of not fair. So I think that's fine as well.
So I don't like the comp from Gen G at all. And I don't think it'll matter. Like, this is the same that I had with the DK draft, where I'm like, man, okay, so you have a winning bot lane, and then you have Tristana, who has a lot of pressure, and then you have Jax, which is a counter pick into Vi, because you can't get, you know, her orders and her passive and her E-offs. And then you look at, like, how does this work? How does this...
Just hit them.
Well, they will. And I'm sure they'll win, because they'll have Prio.
Maybe.
I assume most lanes outside the top. But this isn't the controlled and very safe style that I was expecting out of Gen G. This looks like they might actually commit to fighting with DK. And I can only hope that we have more gameplay than the last game.
I certainly hope so. It looks like that's a great drawing of Lucid, by the way, in the top right as a Chihuahua, I think.
Yep.
That's kind of the Korean meme that he looks like a Chihuahua. It's a thing. Anyway, yeah, this draft from D+ looks very nice. Tons of burst, great engage. You focus one target down, the pick potential is insane, the burst damage is insane. And then Gen Z are like, well, we have this giant red hammer.
My team has a healer too, but you won't be enough.
Yes. Hit him with a hammer, Valdez.
We're just gonna beat you over the head with it instead of making a good comp. Guys, let's jump out of the rift for game number 2.
출판사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
here we go. Game number 2. I said that game number 1 would really set the tone
I hope
for
not.
the series. Yeah. It was a bit sleepy outside of Keen hitting turrets, I guess.
That was
Some
fun.
gold cards occasionally. But this one should have some more fire.
I thought it was cute when he blue carded behind him. It's like, I don't need to stun you.
It's like, I just want to deal damage to you. It's not like you're going anywhere. So, just going to take out this blue card and hit you with it. Gen G getting a bit aggressive in their own right, just like DK did in game number 1 from the red side, maybe looking to set up vertical jungling for the jungle Jags. And in fact, that's exactly what they're doing. And it might be even more as Chovy just going to rocket jump over the wall and pushes them away. Takes a bit of damage for it, but I guess it's going to make their stance very clear on this topic.
Yeah, I imagine that they didn't really want to try and contest level 1, the lethal tempo. It's exactly the same thing that we talked about in the last game, right?
Yep.
Where you just realistically can't walk up to the... And that was Kalista Renata, which is scary, but we're already cleansing.
Yeah, level 1 tempo, very important, especially in a volatile lane like this one.
Yeah, Pays already uses cleanse on the exhaust of aiming. They're just desperately fighting for the level 2. But DK, if you don't win this hard enough, like you're trading and you're gonna get dove. So they're like, if we're gonna get dove anyway, we need to hard trade, try and force something. But it did not work.
Ooh. Yep.
They did thin out the wave considerably though.
Yeah.
10 seconds left.
Oh, maybe you can get a steal
Player standing.
for the level up?
Some minions, some little cruggies. No, he's still level 1. Well, it's fine. May was pushing into him.
But
He should be able to hit level 2.
It's actually big because Canyon doesn't hit level 3. So he doesn't have leaf
Ooh,
trap.
that too, yeah.
So that might actually be the difference maker. He didn't get enough krugs.
He can always just flash. Are they going to go for this? Looks like it. Lahen's got his heat in a good spot, and Aiming and Kellen just going to respect it as in goes Canyon. It's level 3, and now he flashes in. Kellen going to flash away, and now Lucid is here as we have a 3-on-3. Aiming stepping up to this one. Canyon getting pretty low, but the damage out of the Rumble is huge, as well as the Draven going to get another flash out of this one. As meanwhile, they're denying all of these minions under the turret.
He's going back in.
All right, is he going to go for the play? He does not have flash. Lahen's is so low. But yeah, down he goes. Oh man, the extension on the creep, and Lahen's will eat a first blood that is given over to Lucid.
A different game already, Feldes, as action explodes towards the bot side of the map. Still, Gen G, they're able to deny a ton of CS, they're able to deny a ton of experience. But man, what an early skirmish to come through here. Aiming actually getting those creeps, I think, ends up being absolutely huge. Oh god, they're freezing the wave away from them. Oh. Oh no.
Yeah, the timing of that is actually huge. It might not look like much, but they're going to deny multiple waves of XP and gold away from Aiming. Normally, if Canyon didn't step into that wave, it would have just crashed, and it might have reset, you know, in a spot, or at least pushed back towards Aiming and Kellen after their back. Not going to be the case now.
Canyon does end up hitting level 3 because he was still very close, but they don't actually heal Kellen, so they double invest flash. And this is where we do see, I think the minions make a big difference. The fact that Aiming doesn't actually end up going down here as well. And then here, Aiming gets another rotation. As long as you can get your cooldowns up, it is still quite big. Sidestep from Lucid there on the first harpoon, meaning that the second hitting him doesn't actually end up taking him low enough. Finds the, as you point out, extension on the E. But that's the kill going over to Lucid, which in of itself is quite nice. But not going to be enough, as Lucid does have his smite. Canyon doesn't, but he doesn't really want to risk it. If you stick around and you don't win that, could end up being quite rough. And Canyon is, despite all the attention towards the bot side, still going to end up with an experience lead. Although Lucid, obviously, in terms of gold, still feeling great due to the early kill he picked up.
Yeah, gonna be pretty okay for him, as this wave is slowly but surely pushing back into Aiming and Kellen, but you can see the damage it has done to their creep score. And Lahen's just doing a good job sitting in the brush, getting some heat up. But yeah, might just kind of simmer out for now. Unless they do want to go for a follow-up dive before all the flashes are up. The amount of poke damage is still going to be insane from the Draven and the Rumble, and you see that Lehens and Pays certainly trying to coordinate that here in this bottom lane.
We do have the objective being started. Another big thing that we haven't really talked about yet is that, particularly with the Ahri, you want to hit 6 so badly and as quick as possible as Vi, because that's really where this mid-jungle 2v2 unlocks, where you can ult in aggressively, Showmaker can follow up and get the resets going early. And because of the early play, Lucid just now dinged level 5, so he's pretty substantially behind the curve of where you'd normally be if you just were able to clear continuously. And Genji,
That was
as
what I was
expected,
worried
will be able
about.
to pick up the early first dragon here.
I think that's our
Wow.
I think that's our first time looking at the top lane.
Yeah. I think we got one quick
Yeah.
glance earlier.
Didn't last very long.
No.
The Gragas definitely neutralizing it quite a bit. And Keen, certainly a strong Jace player, but it's not going to matter too much. Kingen very well versed in the Gragas himself, especially that AP Gragas, which he has played a bunch. As you see, Aiming and Kellen here just continuously in a rough spot. As now Showmaker taking a trade in the jungle. Chovy just pushing him away. The Showmaker was just desperately trying to help out, maybe down on the bottom side of the map, but not to happen here as they look for another red buff steal.
See Lucid as well, looking for a cross map. It's kind of
Yeah?
not
Really?
sure what to do here. They won't actually go for that. Was Kingen?
Now the flash on in, and Keen is not going to respect it. Flashes, tries to get the kill onto Kingen, but it will not happen. A 2v1 does pan out pretty well for D+ in the top side, as now Kellen is left just to die. And I guess he just couldn't get away from underneath that turret in time.
Yeah, didn't actually make it out. As soon as the bubble is gone, nice sidestep from Pace there. There is no tool available for DK to keep Lehens from just straight up barbecuing him. Aiming staying alive is big. Kill also didn't go over the Pace, sitting on 192 stacks, so could have been much worse. Now it's a 1-for-1 trade. Genji's still going to be happy with that, but if it ends up being a kill for Pace, I think that might be where the game starts kind of to slip away, because that's a lot of extra gold. He was only sitting at a long sword at that point in time as well. Now, Lucid does have level 6 available. We'll see how they're able to utilize that. And this is credit to Kingen as well. Him getting a kill in this matchup is actually huge, because he's not playing tank Gragas, right? He's playing the AP variety, which has really, really annoying trading patterns to deal with. Normally, Jace, one of the reasons why he's so strong is he kind of gets to dictate, he gets to go in, gets to knock you away. But against Gragas, that just doesn't really work because of body slam.
Yeah.
So Gragas is the one who with the agency in that. And this is just, this level of confidence from Kingen is really good to see. I feel like he's ramped up so much over the course of the last month and a half. As here, yeah, the moment that you bubble it down, it's just there's a lot of damage available, and I think they knew Canyon was there. They couldn't get away as Lucid.
Yeah, Cannon getting pretty aggressive in there. Maybe trying to steal away some Raptors. Is now Lucid level 6, but is not going to continue on that. Meanwhile, Aiming and Kellen level 5 here. Pace, meanwhile, level 6, and enjoying a scrumptious wave underneath this turret. Not too bothered at all. Just hoping for a kill a little bit later on with even more stacks, perhaps.
Really, when you think about it, Lehens liking Rumble support is one of the most obvious things in the world. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
This was a man who was known for his Elise way back as, oh, Lucid gonna get spotted on the ward. Might be opting into a 3v3, but Genji have the knowledge advantage. Oh, now they know. They're like, oh, no.
Oh boy, and now the equalizer comes down, the exhaust is huge, but Canyon with the 3-man stun comes over the top from the top rope and just dunks on them, and there's the cash out for Pays.
Oh, you know we're gonna get him. We're already looking at 1,500 gold in his inventory. I was kind of waiting for them to actually, there we go. I know our observers.
Yeah.
That is effectively 3 kills for the Draven here, picked up. Oh, DK, if they swept that brush a second earlier, they probably would have gotten out alive, but unfortunately, not the case. Here they're like, oh, we are walking into a trap. And Lehens, unfazed, jumps in. Started to make a play on top.
All right, nicely done. Perfect alley-oop over to the side of Showmaker, who is going to hit the charm after Kingen sets that one up beautifully. Down goes to the Rumble, and Lehens might bite the bullet for this one, as now Keen trying to get in here, but the charm is huge, and now Toby shows up and is going to trade one back. Ends up being a 2 for 2 in a relatively even trade up on the top side.
2 for 2 trade. Canyon ensuring that the bot side is going to be okay. Kellen, you are level 5. You gotta be real careful there. 2 for 2 trade. Going to be, I think, still okay for DK. They were pretty substantially behind in gold. As we do take a look at the gold diff. So what happens when Draven gets a kill? I can't remember Pace ever playing Draven, but he has 7 career games, like a 57% win rate on it. I don't recall any of them, but in this game, he really is being set up for success. Kingan? Yeah. Again? Really?
Actually hurts.
No, I mean the Chemtech.
Oh, yeah. I mean, clearly Ox is just,
Again?
just not trying. As now, Jovi in a bit of a wonky spot, just being solo killed by Kingan.
Again? Really? Oh my god, Kingan
Just
on
dumps
this
on him.
Gragas. The last time that I saw someone have a performance like this on Gragas was about a year ago. As oh boy,
It's the engage cone for Canyon. He gets on in. Kellen. Oh, nice bubble. Maybe going to be able to trade this one back with the TP. And in fact, they will. They're going to give that kill over to Aiming. Desperately needed it. But Hayes did pick up another kill. Probably not too many stacks on that one, though.
yeah, it's fine. He doesn't have stacks. He already cashed in early. As you can see, Gold League doesn't really move, which we joke about it, but it is kind of the reality of the situation. Kingan looking for yet another turnaround. Does mean that they need to send someone towards top. Imagine that it'll be Showmaker as Aiming and Kellen are now making their way over. Kingan's going to have to do some heavy lifting, really. Because one of the things we haven't talked about yet, because this has actually been an action-packed game, is how does Genji actually play out fights? As Lucid is behind them, but Canyon is on his way.
Uh-oh. Gonna spot him.
One
And
enemy remaining.
did he even notice? It was like going the opposite way. Either way, now it's Lucid against 3, and just one cast from Kingan is not enough. Yes, it does some damage, but really not enough as the exhaust in the bubble, but immaculate timing on the hop away there from Chovy.
Big mistake from Lucid there. Got caught off guard by Canyon showing up, and then it's like, I'm going to die here anyway. Tries to turn it around. Doesn't actually have the damage. That's a costly mistake. As we take another look at this.
Yeah, it's better.
He's asking if he has summoner spells.
잡았다.
I got him.
His spacing there as well, like him walking away to ensure that Tristana doesn't just get maybe get an E and a couple of autos off. And maybe also to make Chovy think, hey, I'm backing off. Really nicely done there by King, and really very aware of the amount of burst output that he has on this AP Gragas. We haven't seen it in so long. Remember that, was it in summer, when, or maybe last year spring when Faker picked it, and then we had like 3 weeks of mid Gragas, and then everyone was like, oh wait, no,
It's like every game.
it's actually bad, and then we just dropped it. It wasn't nerfed or anything. We let it go. Like, no, no, never mind.
Yeah.
But
Turns
like-
out when good players play AP Gragas, it can have a big effect, especially if your team is generally winning. And
Yeah. We'll see. The team fights, though, have been
No
way more
way you're
explosive this
rewarded
time
for that.
around. Still a gold lead here
Down B.
for Gen G, but these type of scrappy fights, I think, is really what you're looking for. If you are DK, try and get value out of this Ari level 11. Lucid has his ult not yet available.
yeah, it feels like a good time to fight, especially because Pace not here at the moment. Tons of burst comes out from Aiming, and it's stolen away by Lucid. This Rift Herald, and now they're going to pick up this Eye as well. DK finding a lot of
Go
value,
in.
and now Showmaker getting on in there. As will he hit the charm? Yes, he will. Right in front of Canyon, and down he will go. Just like that. And Kellen got the kill.
He did it! Showmaker killed Canyon! Well, Kellen got the kill, but I'm crediting that to Showmaker as he goes in.
Oh, the charm gonna hit as well, and now Lucid, he is here on time. Might be traded back by Lehens, but no. With Showmaker here, level 12, it goes back in! And that's just gonna be a trade of kills. Lehens just pick one up onto Lucid.
Oh, Pace. Oh, boy. He's fine, right?
Oh, the sidestep going to be huge, and that's gonna keep him alive. If he gets hit by that cast, that's gonna be big, but now Kingan takes that last turret shot, barely gets away.
Okay, he actually was fine. Really nicely done there. The predicts he walked, which, as we all know, one of the best moves in the game. But man, Showmaker, this game we said coming into the series, he needed to show up. And right now, DK at the very least challenging Genji to about, I don't know how many multitudes more than the first game, but this game is fun, Valdez.
Infinitely more, as there wasn't much of a challenge in game one.
No, there wasn't.
And at this point, it's anybody's game, but you really got to like the chances for D plus Key.
Yeah.
They've really set themselves up. It was a bit back and forth in the very early game, but now 16 minutes in. And again, it's like a situation where, yes, Genji got the first couple of Drakes. They had that Draven Rumble lane, but it's Chemtech's ult. So
it's also like playing this game out as Pays is so hard as...
Ulahan's not quite able to sidestep that one. Showmaker has just been... He's just been locked in, man. He just keeps hitting everything.
The Lucian Nami coming through there big as well. The amount of mid-game or a prio that you can get and the burst, absolutely pivotal. But again, like, and we see it with Lahente as well. Hayes is he's one of the most fat members on the team. He's an immobile AD carry. Same for Keen, by the way, who has to navigate Vi and Ari, which alone is hard, especially when you add Lucian Nami. But there's a fat AP Gragas in the game. Like, if you don't flash a cask and you just get knocked into the team, the amount of disruption that's available is amazing. And Genji, as they do, is taking a lot of global gold. They're still in a position where Chovy is going to be a menace in the side lanes, but I want you to look at the gold deficit and the CS differentials. They're nothing like the last game. Because in this game, Genji actually is fighting with DK. DK is like,
Yeah. Absolutely. Again, this is pretty much anybody's game, and you can see what happens here once again. Lahens is like, yeah, I'm safe, but not against Showmaker. Sorry, you're not.
Holds the charm for quite a while there. You see Lahens already doing a couple of preemptive side steps, and then with the calling as well, we
In
either...
the Malignants, by the way.
Yep. And then while the calling is hitting, it's like either I just woke up and maybe live, or I need to keep sidestepping and I'll probably die. Just the calling as well.
Yeah.
Showmaker,
Sometimes
King, and yeah, coming up huge.
You just have to sidestep to your death. That's the way it goes.
It's the correct choice.
Yeah. It keeps being correct up until you die. And then it's like, well,
We don't care about, we're not results-based.
I had no other choice. Yeah.
Oh my god, he went Storm Surge.
Yeah. That's a I'm fed item.
He is.
That's where you look at yourself, you're like, I'm fed, and then you buy it. Certainly,
He's
a
earned it.
huge amount of burst damage with the AP Gragas already, as here is Showmaker gonna get knocked away, but now Keen in a bit of trouble with Lucid here as well. Not able to sidestep that one, and it will be Showmaker to pick up yet another kill. 4 members in the top lane to try to make that happen.
Lucidity immediate counterpunch from Genji here, but this time, DK have a Herald, so they might actually get an in, or there is no response in towards the bottom half of the map, so Chovy will at the very least be able to get this. Ooh, that was... barely dodged that. Fortunately, we did. There's no response yet, but we'll see if DK actually want to shove. They decide not to. Don't want to run the risk of getting caught in overextension, which, given their history this split, I think is a very good precaution. Now the gold lead there for DK. We'll see to which extent Genji is able to leverage this very fat Draven, because Keen, like, he's been taken out of the game. Obviously, eventually he'll reach a point where his poke is still going to be relevant.
Yeah.
But with how DK has been playing, I feel like they're not going to let him do a whole lot of poke.
Yeah, the issue is, as you mentioned, just the way they're playing, but also their comp is perfect into it.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going into poke, you want hard engage. They have Ari, Vi, and Gragas. And Illusion, who's even going to be, hopping in right away to follow up on the damage. So they really have set themselves up for success here with this early lead, have D plus Kia.
And this is where you look at the Genji comp and go, what does it actually do? Because it doesn't have a lot of CC.
Spike down mid.
Red Hammer.
Yeah, they smack him with the red hammer, but they're mostly behind. Lands, he's reached his spike, but this is support Rumble. Like, that's, like, he'll maybe get a second item. He has Zazax, and he has his Leandries. But even that second item is kind of a, it's a far distant dream that's marred by a lot of control wards being bought. Now DK are just in full control here. They can stack an unreal amount of Chemtech Drakes. You don't even know
The
how
value.
You don't even know how much healing and shielding they're going to be able to do. Which, to be fair, looking at
24%.
it's they have the Gragas passive. Ari heals a little bit. You have Nami. That's something.
Yeah. It's a lot of tenacity against the Jax counter-strike.
That's about it, yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're just asking for DPM numbers now.
I do wonder if D+ can win from this spot. I think this could be a pretty critical moment in the series where we get to see, okay, D+, you have a lead.
I agree.
You have a fantastic composition that allows you to force fights. Can you win? Can you beat them from this spot?
Because as a fan of either teams, you can be like, it's Genji, like they're like 1.5, 2K gold down. Who cares? I got faith in them to pull through the team fight. If you're a DK fan, you look at this and you go, "Oh God, we've lost way better games. Are we gonna be able to pull it through?"
No.
But I gotta say, to me, what is crucial is how does mid jungle look? And in this game, Lucid had a couple of mistakes, but Showmaker is very obviously on, and Kingen is looking immaculate. And you know who I think, as we saw last year on KT, can really do a lot of work in these type of games where he's not the focal point, is aiming. And I think we've seen it in this game as well. He's mostly follow-up. He's mostly a tool for the rest of his team to generate prio and to cash in on these engages. But we have seen him have a ton of success in that position.
Yeah, and I think that Lucian has been one of his better picks
Yeah.
for 2024. That and the Zeri have really been the two big ones this season, especially because they've been both back in the meta. Ken is just going to leap strike into the enemy team and gets cullinged to the face.
Yeah, because
Guarantee that Genji are giving up his Chemtech trade.
remember Lucid's last game where he was like, guys, I got to counter-strike it. That's Canyon this game.
Yeah.
Because they have no engage. Why are we doing this to our junglers?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe over the last weekend, and you know,
So-
a bit, we've had Jax Jungle really come into the forefront.
No, but-
Brims or something.
No. So like again, Jax jungle as a counter pick into Vi, I'm okay with. But why is it Jax jungle and then he's the Yeah, I know you're not. I know you're not a Jax jungler.
Yeah.
I'm fine with Jax jungle. To me, the pick isn't the problem, but it is one of the picks where you do have to have someone else go in. Like Jax's counter strike is not an engage tool.
It's a follow-up tool.
Yeah, and you have a lot of follow-up on Genji, but not a lot of setup,
Yeah.
which I do think you're looking for. That said, though, it's a 1K gold lead, right? It's in the grand scheme of things doesn't mean that much. As Chovy, obviously, in terms of CS, doing great, but Showmaker has been getting. it's
Chovy's ahead on gold.
Yeah,
What?
because CS, and because he picked up a turret or two.
Check him PC, man. What is happening? But yeah, it really is just that. And Showmaker at this point is still incredibly fed, has 10 stacks on a Magi's as well. So maybe going to catch out Lahens here. He's going to be forced to flash. And he might still go down as now the damage is just too much over to the side of Showmaker. And that's just more stacks for him. As he's standing on Lahens' body as well and emoting. Might as well.
So there, a little bit of contemplation from him. Do I want to calling? Yeah, I do want to calling. And I wonder if this is a preamble to a setup for the Baron here. There is still a lot of vision control here for Genji, so they have a pretty good idea the Baron is being taken. At the very least, they can go for the mid lane here. As, yeah, the poke, it's kind of landing, but you're not getting value out of your Storm Surge. You do need to do a little bit more damage there. The calling was already used, so I think a lot of the power of the DK comp is first you throw an ult, and then someone gets the calling into it. And DK, I think they also know, like, if we start up Nash and we make a mistake, we just lose the game. Like, we can't give them back control. So what if instead we just play for the soul? Which is, it is kind of
great.
But it's still a soul, Valdez.
Yeah, it does spawn the Elder Drake, which we always love.
I do love Elder Dragon.
Or our challengers, Elder Flips, that we are nowadays getting in the LCK as well. And yeah, you can see the gold tier keeping track of FaZe's stacks, sitting on 357 once again after getting that second kill.
Someone gets the calling into it. It's very telling that FaZe is like, I need a maul. Right now, I will not live if I don't. And good call, honestly. Don't think you're going to be able to do a whole lot in the fights. Does mean that aiming still has a ton of pressure as... Ooh, Chovy. Not even on free items yet, but already threatening there. Kingen has to use his ultimate.
Yeah, he's gonna have IE soon, and already Chovy is beginning to do some insane amount of damage.
Canyon.
Just gonna get on in there and try to take out Kellen, but now Canyon just gonna be burst to smithereens by the Ahri, who is just owning this game, and now Lucid is left out to dry. That's another kill over the Draven. And so Gen G are able to trade it back and with no jungler. DK definitely not gonna start that Baron.
Both junglers having a rough one there. I think DK didn't want to risk us. Oh, the pick!
The chance, and it's just a flash. Chovy just gonna elect to survive instead, but now trying to follow up on some damage. Decent amount of poke coming out here from Keen. No equalizer just yet from the side of Lehens.
Kingen.
Follow-up coming in pays also, but gotta be careful for Kingen, as you mentioned, as here comes Showmaker, but the charm this time is going to miss. If he lands that one, I think Keen dies.
Lucid getting a little bit overeager there. The response from Gen G, very rapid. If they end up losing Canyon and they also use Lahens' ultimate and they don't get the counter kill, that's probably Baron gone as the pressure TP from Chovy. He's done. Menace. But he might get collapsed on.
The engage cones coming on in. Chovy's like, wait, how are you there already? Yeah, I think he's just dead. I mean, you press R, Showmaker's here, there's the charm, and Chovy will go down. 700 gold given over to Showmaker. And he has 22 stacks on his Magi's already.
Yeah. He does a whole lot. That play makes sense if Gen G is in a position to immediately, like, snap make the call on Baron. The moment that Lucid shows up, like, we're burning it out, but they were not. So
Yeah.
Chovy just TPs in and dies, which
Not
nearly as impressive.
Yeah, not the best play we've seen. And now that's going to spark up DK to start this, because again, Chovy doesn't have TP. So is he going to be able to get in there? No equalizer as well just yet on Lehens, but he should have it. I just don't think it's really going to matter unless Canyon can steal this away.
They have Kosk. They need to get Canyon out of the pit.
Yeah, they want to try to push them away. And they're just not going to flip it. They say, no flip. We're not going to take that chance.
Good call. But they need to get something out of it. I don't know if backing is really the way to go here. I imagined that they would just run towards the Drake and take that. That I would have been fine with. This seems like a little bit too much safety there. DK maybe being haunted by some of the mistakes in their past. Because now they're actually going to lose Prio on the river.
Yeah, no cease and desist for Lucid, as now the damage is going to come out here from aiming. Lehens pretty low. Still has equalizer, as this one will go the way of Gen G. They deny a soul and even get ahead on Drakes themselves. And this is still anybody's game. Comps aside, we're still very much enjoying D plus Kia's composition here, but you still have to play it out cleanly. You still have to execute it to win the game.
And you can see the hesitation there. Like, do we go mid? Do we try to push for an inhib? Nope, not going to be the case. Kingen alone. They're just desperately looking for a pick. And Baron gets started up again as Kingen.
Yeah, I mean,
outsmarted.
Even if they get Kingen, like, who cares? D plus are going to get this Baron.
He's out.
Kingen's out. And the damage is being done to the Baron. They have no idea.
Well, I think
well, it looks like they do.
They just can't woke up. They
could have sworn they cleared out the vision, and that they did.
All right, I take it back. Flawless play. All according to plan. Baron secured. You give up Chemtech soul point.
Sure.
No harm done there. Now,
fine.
And this is where I think DK, in my opinion, have struggled possibly the most when it comes to mid-to-late game. How do they use their Red Bull Baron power play? Because teams like Gen G T1, they get one Baron, game's done. They get like 1 or 2 inhibs, they siege extremely well, and that's it. We need to see the base of Gen G actually be cracked open here. We'll see if DK is able to do it. They have the tools to force people off of these waves, but one misstep into the double Infinity Edge. 80 carries on Gen G. They'll swiftly get taken down.
Well, let's see just how they're going to make this work. Lehens setting up alongside a Pays here on the side, just waiting to try to clear this wave. Decent amount of damage is going to come out here already onto aiming, just to push them away so they can clear the wave. That's essentially what that was used for.
DK, you have enough Baron buffs to use it on multiple waves.
No. One
God
lane.
damn it.
No, not one lane.
5v5. The gentleman's battle.
Side lanes are real!
No.
It's fine, they just poke.
All right, just get Toby! Just kill him, but no, the three-man counter-strike comes out from Cannon. Immediately traded back, though, as now 4v4 in this game, and Showmaker still alive, still doing insane amounts. And should have benefited on even more stacks. He's at 24.
Oh, and I understand King and trying to make that play. That could have been game-winning.
Yep.
But Kenyon, like he ended up dying for it, but that 3-man counter-strike, or 4-man, I don't even know how many people it was, that actually at least saves an inhibitor. I don't know if they can end off of that, but if he doesn't keep that backline occupied for just a second, I think DK could have pushed through there. But now, Rebel there on power play isn't really going to look like a whole lot. Yes, it's a 2K lead, but that alone, not enough, and inhibitors for Gen G still stand strong.
Yeah, that they do. It keeps them alive. And there's only 45 seconds left on this Baron. Chovy waiting and trying to punish Showmaker. Not quite able to do so.
Defensive play from Gen G, so strong, so hard to crack.
Oh, trying to get on in there. They press the R button onto Chovy and they take him out. The damage from the RE just too much. And there it is, a double kill now for Showmaker. As they get it done. That's the engage we were looking for, as Showmaker getting very close to the sun is, oh man.
Wait, return?
Stasis? Oh,
Woohoo!
just barely.
It's fine, he's okay. Lahens almost has his ultimate available.
And redemption going to be huge, keeps them all very healthy. And with 5 seconds left on the Baron, will they continue on the push is really the main question. It's looking likely, but now the minions are not buffed up. Still could look for a play when the Spirit Rush does come up for Showmaker. That's what it looks like they are going for. As, oh man, that calling damage and it pays as well. A Spirit Rush, the charm, the max range here onto Keen, but there's just no wave. And now
Come on,
Showmaker's
DK,
pretty
end
low,
it.
so they're going to give up the push.
No Baron buff available for them anymore. And there we see the power of point and click CC coming through as Lucid just presses his R button on him. The follow-up is immediate, flash ults, no space there. And even
It was
though...
ult flash, right? To get
sorry,
range
ult
and,
flash, yeah. To give the least amount of response time there to Chovy. Because if Chovy like flashes or W's, like that's the end.
Yeah.
Might be the end of it, because that's probably the dragon or the soul going over. Instead,
Is the game
oh no.
Down
over?
I don't even know. I don't know what you're asking, but no, it's still up in the air, Valdez.
I mean, Showmaker is so unbelievably fed. Like, how can it not be over?
Sidestep it.
Oh, the Horizon focus vision as well. Lahens is so much pressure, but he has an arm guard. Oh my god.
Base is fed. Oh, that was a little scary.
I suppose
Hey,
it's
fine.
anybody's game.
It's bot lane inhib. You can just contest for Drake while that's down.
Yeah,
Doesn't
true.
matter.
I was ready to give this one over to the side of D+. I thought they did it, but apparently it's not quite
Lucid?
done just yet. Lucid on a ward, unfortunately for him.
Oh, yeah, he thought he was fine because the control
Yeah.
ward just outside of range.
Showmaker.
Showmaker!
Here he is. That should be a dead Lahens. Down he goes. And the follow-up damage is not good from the side of Gen G, but Canyon gets that engage, but he's in alone. He's going to go down. And now the massive range ult. Pays is going to be caught by the entirety of D+.
Oh my
That will be the
God.
end
That
of
fucking
this game.
vial was
As
disgusting.
well, we'll have to wait and see. Gen G, Chovy trying to stop the bottom
That's
lane
crazy.
and the
And he
big
cleared a
wave.
wave.
There's no way. There's just no way, right? Chovy is going to live, but they could just push mid and end the game. As flash forward from Kellen, he's not even going to get the kill. Okay. Guys, you can just end the game. You can just win.
Just win.
And that they will.
Oh boy, Showmaker showing up huge here
They,
on the RE.
and they end? I mean, they should be able to, right?
Yeah, no, they'll be
Yeah,
able to.
okay.
This is the Nexus.
Jeez.
We're fine.
You never knew until the Nexus was gone, and there it is, D+ Kia. They will tie up the series 1-1. We have a series all over our hands. And Showmaker's able to, he's able to do it once again.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, obviously Kingdom's early game was great. You know, Lucid did find his arc and press it on opponents, but if that's not a 12 out of 12 for Showmaker, I don't know. That was an insane performance on the Ari to come through. Really good job, I think, for everyone on DK. I think Kellen looked a little bit rough in the early game, but I think he recuperated well, aiming at a great Lucian game. But we said Showmaker had to perform, and in that game he did. I'm sure Genji isn't going to draft like that. I don't know if DK will be given that much leeway, but man, what a game, Valdez.
That's Showmaker, by the way, in that picture, saying, I'm gonna go kill you, Canyon. And he didn't only get Canyon in this game, he got everybody on the side of Genji. Funnily enough, the Rumble did the most damage, I suppose.
Ah, no!
Especially because he was so far behind.
No!
And yeah, D+, they get a lead. They push it into the mid game, and they actually close it out cleanly.
That sucks.
There were some slightly iffy moments, but I'd say
hiccups.
overall, that's a passing grade for D+ Kia. And it looks like they will make this series interesting one way or another. As we are done here after game number 2, we're going to go back to the space after a break. We'll BRB.
Bro, what is that, dude? There's no fucking shot.
프리하겠다. 나 프릴 초. 유로 뱀 봐줄게. 나 버프. 야 라인 지켜 그냥. 안 따라가도 돼. 안 따라가지 마. 버프 있어. 네? 야 죽지 마.
아, 끝. 나 미드 함께.
안 죽냐? 안 죽네. 아니야 나. 끝날만 하겠다. 나 문백. 아래 뼈. 아래 거부터. 야 성훈아. 너 잘한다. 야 이거 잘 보고 내가 봐. 야 잘한다. 럼버 2컷.
Bro, he's ridiculous.
알려줘. 나이스.
Spike planted.
What? Team fight tactics. The Japanese commercial.
상대가 나잖아. 한잔해. 잔 좋구나. 시비를 털지 말고 나를 봐라. 어디로 가냐? 어디로 갈리요?
Bro, what are these shots even, dude? How are you fucking hitting these? God. Insane. Okay, I can't stand this fucking shit anymore. Driving me nuts.
Last player standing.
And you're done. You had your fun. My turn.
Some days you just get demolished, bro.
It's you and me.
Last player standing.
22? Whoa. I hit her with at least 4 bullets, and you're saying I only hit her with 1. There's no way.
Spike planted.
Oh my god. That's fucking audio feedback.
한판 엎어치기를 이게 얼마짜리 토스인가요? 대왕대지 완전 호랑인데요. 쇼메이커 플레이메이킹 메이커 루시드 쇼메이커 아니 디플러스기야 이런 저력.
Welcome back to the space, ladies and gentlemen. I've got there's something I don't know what something. It's a series and it's all over our hands, gentlemen. We're gonna dive into the draft first off. Huni, Wolf, can you take us through how D+ were able to do this?
Well, you know, I think it's a little bit I mean, it was pretty obvious that Ari would come through eventually, right? You know, that part we knew was coming. They hovered it for a while. They didn't lock it into the last second, but we knew that one was coming. I think it's a little bit less about what D+'s comp does because it's very simple, right? It works very easily. You chain CC together, you kill somebody. D+, they had a pretty robust comp. Gen G's comp wins early, and if you really snowball like extremely hard when you're winning the Rumble lane, you know, you have the Jace trying to get ahead against the Gragas, and then the Tristana is popping off in mid, it has some jungle attention, then yeah, it could work because you're just so far ahead, it doesn't matter. But if you look at these 5 champions and what they do together, if you're not massively ahead, they don't really work together. It's not really a comp at all.
It's just, I mean, I just don't like the 4th pick, the Jace, it actually came through. Like, sure, like, we kind of knew that Rumble's, like, really flax, and Jax is so flax, Loki, and also Rumble's just, we kind of knew that he's gonna go to support. So, like, as soon as they pick Jace, I think the DK, especially the 4-5, the response is, like, really good. Like, as everyone knows, like, the Ari-Vi is, like, one of the best, greatest combo, and the Gragas pick, I think it was, like, really safe, and it's like it was a really secure because like already the other 4 the draft out, so already like really safe enough to just go through. So I think it was really nice.
If you had a Maokai with this draft for Genji instead of the Jax, I could really get behind it a lot more because you could lock people down, you could slow down the fights. Tristana Maokai insanely good. Maokai great with Rumble, Maokai great with Jace. but that just wasn't speed.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out. And I feel like the priority on the Jax so far this series hasn't necessarily worked out. We know that a lot of our junglers do really like to play it, but it hasn't quite been a thing thus far. But Huni, I want to talk to you about a certain top laner. Because Kingen, I don't know what happened. He had a pretty iffy game, a 1-star game on the Rumble. Look at this Gragas, man.
It was a pixel perfect. Like Chovy had an actual ulti there, and it's like it feels like little one more steps up. Like he would have got an ulti and was not to be able to kill, but he managed to actually solo kill. And after, like the snowball is like it's not actually ended. Like this is the thing. Like the Showmakers just keep making the play, and with the Lucid is there, and this is like right after the hero. Like they just keep going until just everything that they can get.
I think that obviously the bottom lane was going very well, even with a death on the hens there for the side of Genji, but the rest of the map was still fairly even. And just some clutch plays out of the solo laners from D+ brought them back in it. Lucid was absolutely down to go up there and help out as well. And those three players just kind of patched the hole that was the bottom lane. And that was all that D+ needed to actually get to a game state to where Genji's comp really struggled to do anything, was constantly vulnerable. The night and day difference between the lack of engage for D+ in game 1 and how many different ways they could chain CC together in game 2.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And now, Huni, can we give a rating to Kingen? Because this was the Rumble. What about the Gragas? There we go.
I give him 5-star for sure. I think I kind of did it too. I kind of did it dirty to him the game 1, but but it is what it is, man.
Especially in the early game, Kingen came back, but the late game was about a different player, and the late game came pretty early. Let's have a look at what Showmaker was able to do. Deathless and a full book. Like, his album was chock-a-block.
Because he's so fed, it's really hard to actually collapse on him as Genji, especially because their comp doesn't leave them a lot of space. I don't know what it was with Lehens and Showmaker in this game, but Showmaker just punished this Rumble that's super squishy non-stop all game long. Gets that pick first, and obviously from here on it's an easy front to back, and then this extended ultimate here from Lucid does help catch and allow the charm to go through. The ult usage there as well with Kingen on a lot of these skirmishes paired up with the charms afterwards just guarantee that one single target is pushed even further back in. And there wasn't a lot of turn options for Genji. This was one of many fights that we had at the end of the game. I think that was obviously one of the more one-sided ones, but we had a lot of fights leading up to this where Genji just kept getting picked, kept losing control over the map.
It just didn't quite work out. Let's have a look at Showmaker's POG, shall we? And there it is, 10-0-8. His DPM was an aeroplane. That's how good he was.
I mean, it's just like it was a perfect angle in Ari. Like all the situation was, everything was ready, and the Shoemaker just absolutely just punished every single time when enemy just kind of step up. Like there were so many different actions that he can actually. He had options to do it because the enemy team didn't really have any safe toolkit that just counterplay against Ari.
Yeah, I wanted to vote for Kingen for a majority of this game, but we saw the Magi's come out, and we knew it was one of those games. We talked about this in the KT series with the Silas. I spent a lot of time talking about this over Showmaker's career. It's just, when he picks the Dark Seal, keep an eye on it. When the Magi's comes out, that's when you know the game is over.
Yep, shout-outs to the Kingen votes. I think it's absolutely fine to give him a little bit of a shout, but of course, Showmaker was an absolute monster in that game. Showmaker himself, though, at the very end of the game, did say, Kingen, you're good, man. Feel like maybe the world's MVP from 2022 is coming back. But let's see whether he can stay there as we head towards game number 3. Take it away, commentators.
Thank you, Spacers, for that awesome breakdown. Happy to see Kingen really turn it around from the 1-star to the 5-star, but Showmaker still the deserved POG at number 2. Puts the team on his back with that Ari and does not die a single time the entire game. As
Can never get a
I
good
think Genji
game.
certainly had a bit of fun in that draft. I think we're going to see a very different look coming into game 3, especially from the blue side. You know, you could have played it safe. You could have just picked Azir. You could have saved counter pick for top side. They didn't do any of that. And I think now they've had their fun. And my recommendation would just to, you know, calm things down a little bit.
Keen buddy, it's Cassante time. That's what Valdez is saying.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking towards, as unsurprisingly we're going to keep those jungle bans in place. The solo laners of DK, nothing an absolutely stellar performance. Showmaker, the main thing to me is that he's been stringing more and more of these good games together. Because even if we go back to like week 8-9, it was rough. He was one of the weak points in the series against Gen G. They played his Annie in game 3 in particular, really didn't hit the mark. So seeing him just have good game after good game, so big for DK, because it really feels like he is the beating heart of the team. And then King stepping up in a way that I would not have expected like 2-3 weeks into the split. But as you're saying, Gen G, they, as DK did, found out that drafting Jax as your sole engage maybe isn't the way to go. Maybe you need a comp that works cohesively one way or another. It's fine if it's a 1-3-1 comp, but I want to see something different, and I'm sure that we'll get it here. Senna taken away. Good adaptation from DK based on game number 1, definitely. In game 1, I think you can leave it up. Pace did get kind of boomed early on the dive, but outside of that, he was a large part of what I think made it so impressive, like making plays into Senna with so much sustain and heal and shielding is really, really tough.
Yeah, I think you're taking a risk by leaving it available, and the risk did not pay off, so just mitigate the risk in the future games, and that's just fine. They're also going to ban away the Kalista, so they don't want to pick it themselves and like ban away the Talia and be sneaky with that, with giving over the Senna like they did in game 1. So Gen G, they're just going to pick Varus.
It's just good. It's Varus. Not surprising at all.
Ashe still up.
Can go Ashe, because if you don't, there's a pretty big chance that's going to be the double marks in bot lane.
Yeah.
We'll see what DK wants to actually go for. Even though the Rumble support in the last game didn't look great, Ashe Rumble is still a really strong combo that can punish immobile carries like the Varus. That is going to make sure that Lucid gets to play the game again. And Varus, as I think strong as he is in every stage of the game, has a ton of flexibility in his builds. Trying to play Varus into Zeri and Vi, it's not going to be the best of times. And Nautilus has already been banned. Vi has been locked in here. And aiming on Zeri generally can be trusted.
You deny the Vi from the side of Gen G. You play the Zeri. It's one of aiming's best picks. We've had our fun with the weird stuff, you know. Let's just go back to tried and true with aiming's Zeri just fine. The Sejuani is going to be picked up here, as well as the Rumble.
Don't know where that is going. Expectation from the production is still keen, as we do get the hover over him. Now for Kellen, last time it was the Yuumi. I do think trying to play Zeri Yuumi into Rumble Varus does not sound like the best of times. I love this lock-in. Obviously, was absolutely incredible in the last game. There are already 2 immobile characters on the enemy team again. Lucid, even in the worst of cases, even when he doesn't have a great game, will be able to press R, allow Showmaker to play the game. And you ban Poppy and Talia here, and I think you're feeling great.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout as well. Deny some good picks there to the mid lane of Chovy. Maybe force him onto something a bit more passive so they can't really get value out of that Sejuani nearly as much. Azir going to be the first look. We all know how Azir can warp games, especially in the hands of Chovy from game 1. Rakan going to be taken off the board here.
Very interesting. I'd imagine that Gen G want to look towards Talia, although it is important to note that Talia has been... We've seen both sides of the matchup go either way. We've seen people pick Ahri into Talia, we've seen people pick Talia into Ahri. Feels very similar to something like a Corki and Azir in terms of handshake, where there is a possibility to outplay. And they are not going to get rid of... I don't think the Poppy makes sense, because Poppy top isn't as likely, especially because there's probably an R5 counter pick in the works for Kingen. But the Talia, they are willing to accept as well. Something that Chovy manages to pilot well, but not having Tristana does mean that Talia, as good as she is, does not have any built-in safety outside of the E into this type of dive composition.
Absolutely. Well, let's see what Kellen is playing. Bard might be the choice here. And, you know, Bard into Rumble, into Varus. They are a bit immobile.
Oh, you're kidding me. I lost 30 RR for that? You've got to be fucking kidding me. So I got to go on a 3 fucking win streak to get 35.
Not great about the Melio pick has been fine, but you're also not playing it into a Maokai. I think that's where you get a lot more value. Chovy has been known to scale into
It's a fucking
oblivion
game.
in any matchup. And the Ari is going to be tough, but does have, again, the built-in safety. That's something like Tristan had as well. And I called it. I knew it was happening. Someone had to pay the price. Could be Aatrox here. I think Aatrox, Vi, Ari really is the type of top side that you'd be looking towards. Kingen also has a World's Finals MVP skin on the champion. Gnar is another consideration that they could be looking towards here. That is something that we've seen with a little bit less success. Does give you more prio in the lane, but it has not been as successful outside of it. And I think also doesn't really fill me with the same confidence when it comes to following up on the surefire dive that's going to come through, right? You have Zeri, Vi, Ari. This Udyr, I think, is the only part that I'm a little bit worried about. I imagine Kingdom's like, I want to be able to have agency in the lane again. I want to be able to have prio. And Udyr is the type of pick where if you execute it well, with your level, with your ultimate level 1, right? You start storming, start running, start proxy, and take control of that wave, but hasn't been that successful recently.
Could have also just picked TF. I mean, that was available. It's another pick we've seen many times into Cassante. Something that can really just kind of neutralize the weird Cassante stuff that he oftentimes does, and to get a lot of prio, get you extra amount of gold, and then you have Vi RETF, and nobody's getting away from that ever, and would have been very nice. But instead, just gonna go for something, I suppose, a bit safer, right? Extremely tanky, extremely hard to lock down. Something that if you're not going to play at all around the top side, you can just let be. Just kind of like, okay, you go proxy, maybe you die a couple of times, who cares? And we're just gonna play for the bottom lane, which is also fine because you've got aiming on Zeri.
Getting the Zeri fed has been a great win condition for the last 2 years, so not complaining about that. I'm just happy that we have 2 team comps where I look at them and like, they do stuff.
Yeah.
And not one of them going like, oh, I don't know. I think the DK one, a little bit more iffy, but that strong mid-jungle 2v2 is there again. That's been pivotal in this series.
Let's see if it works out as we hop into the Rift here for game number 3. Game 3 on the cards with D plus Kia having a 1 on their side of the scoreboard. That's something that a lot of us did not predict. There were, I think, at least 4 or 5 3-0 predictions. So those are out the window entirely. Could still be like a Gen Z 3-1, but I think getting a win this early on for the side of DK does inspire some confidence that maybe we will have a more overall competitive series rather than just the one game from DK.
I also made my prediction just purely based on vibes. I'm like, nah, between these 2 teams...
No analysis of this.
No, because realistically, you should hard win mid-jungle, no matter what, because Kane and Chovy have been exceptional. And when you go lane for lane, there are just such big edges for Gen G. They're a really dependable team. But at the same time, even in the regular split, as mentioned, DK just always seem to find a way when it comes to Gen G. They get under their skin in a way that even T1 doesn't seem to be able to do. We're also a team that is very happy to go in aggressively on these early games. As we do have the poke of Gen G in this game is absolutely disgusting between the Corki. They have both equalizers, Feldes. They have 2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They could layer.
Why? I mean, probably don't want to, right? I guess.
Well, why not?
If you can lock them down, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You got a Cassante Q3 going.
You have a Sejuani.
Or you can hide one of them underneath the other.
Yeah, exactly. Although I don't know why you would stand on either of them, so it's not like even if it was hidden.
If it's only one, it's fine, right? Sure.
Yeah. Well, the slow from the package can actually be critical for Lahen's doing extra damage. I think that his Rumble, he kind of got bullied towards the end of the game of last game, but I think he was pretty fantastic in terms of lining up great equalizers and just outputting tons of damage on the support Rumble. Did the most on his team, and part of that was the comp, you know. Not sure about running there, but that's fine.
As we did, did see that Emilio really struggling. I do think a large part of that is due to Emilio being picked a lot with Lucian, and that combo really overstayed its welcome by like, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, at least.
Really good response here, though, from Lucid. Like this a lot. Identifying that, just like in game number 1, they're going to invade his bot side jungle, so just takes his wolves, runs straight to Kenyon's jungle. He does have topside prio, so even though he doesn't have prio in mid side, he's still completely fine. Should be able to trade, and might even trade up a camp, depending on how the timing looks here. Showmaker is struggling a little bit very early on there, as you don't really... Yeah, now Kenyon's like, oh.
No wolves.
Oh, damn.
We have one on the space, but none there.
None in that jungle.
Yeah. There are some for Lucid, if he would extend that far. Although Canyon now just going to run away back to his blue side of the jungle.
Yeah, I think Lucid also, did put a ward down, but I think in general, you probably just let the wolves go. Although they do have topside prio. I wonder... Oh, he's just going to go for the wraparound because he saw the direction that Canyon was going in. Wonder if he's able to get a back off, though. Canyon must have an inkling, as Lucid should be fine in the 1v1 because it doesn't play prio. I imagine he doesn't want to run the risk. So it is going to be a relatively even trade, with Canyon getting 2 scuttles, but Lucid getting an extra camp, as we do see Chobi's win rate on this champion is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Not bad.
You know, no 80% plus,
True.
but that's fine.
Not as Ari.
I think the 21 and 8 is pretty decent, and he has been a driving force for a lot of the quirky games, even after the nerfs to the honestly just broken interaction between Malignant and Eclipse.
Yeah.
And basically one of the players that was like, no, this is still strong. I think Baker was the other one, right? And Zeka, unfortunately. Also part of that list, I guess.
Oh, Zeka.
Not so much success, but his team still won.
They found a way, despite.
So I guess it was fine. But yeah, Jovi and Faker definitely a couple of the big quirky players that are like, no, it's still good. It's fine.
Do see the laning dominance come through here from the bot side 2v2. Very good job by Pays on Lahens. But due to the sustain, aiming and Kellen are fine. Haven't really taken too much damage, so there isn't really the possibility for a dive. You're really expecting to take a little bit of a hit, as Lucid is going to just play for early grubs. As yeah, with this bot side, Milio Zeri, you're not contesting the first strike.
It's not going to happen. Nope. Just let it go. And you know, we still have a chance for 3 Chemtech souls in a row.
What if we just do, because it's going to 5 games.
It's a so still a chance.
What do we do? Do we just go for the 5?
Well, at that point, we accept our fate. We
want to
hope for
commit,
5,
right?
yeah.
We don't want the cringe for
Oh no, not the
Chemtech.
cringe
It's
for Chemtech.
1 hextech.
For game 5.
Yeah. Which we are hitting, by the way.
It would be in game 4. It's like Hextech. We're like, oh, I guess it's only 3 Chemtech souls today, and then we get Chemtech soul for game 5. It's like a crazy comeback from DK in game 4. It's like insane, and Elder flips, and then super hype, silver scrapes, and then we get Chemtech soul.
I can see it, Valdas. I can see it right in front of me.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
We have no impact on it anyway.
Well,
as,
Fox does.
Well, yeah, of course.
So
Hanging. It's just I'm really glad we get to see Grasp stack farming in topside though. That's nice.
yeah, it's very fun.
It's important that we know. So
We don't have any grasp stacking in mid or in bot. No Zillions in this game. So
no Zillion, no Grasp Azir either.
yeah.
It really has just been. I really appreciate both teams' commitment to not playing Azir. Outside of, Game of Mobile.
Outside of game 1, yeah.
But like, it's given how prevalent he is, I'll take any win I can get.
Sure. It's better than 3 games of Azir, which we easily could have had because was not banned outside of the second phase of the bans in game 3 here.
Chovy almost winning a straight up trade there with Cole and Tear doesn't feel right to me, Valdez. I don't like that.
Yes, first strike and Gatling gun value.
He's gunning a lot, but
is Gatling gun one of the least impactful abilities in the game? It's not less impactful than the Callista goes.
No, I think it's kind of meh, but I think it's fine. Late game, there's a decent amount of extra damage that you add to your all-in combo.
Yeah, I feel like it's basically there just to give you first strike value in the lane.
I'm looking,
And that's
like,
all it does.
I think Rumble's W might be worse than...
Hey man, you get some speed up.
Yeah, you get heat, I know, but they nerfed it a lot. Like, they nerfed it like, many, many times.
How about that one Udyr stance that nobody uses?
Tiger. Or, well, it's not Tiger, but
Definitely not Tiger.
definitely not Tiger.
Is
as,
the official name of it.
Kellen does have to flash.
A play here on a Chovy. This is up by Andari. This is what you do. You get in, you press your R button on the mid laner, and then you dash in and they can't get away. Chovy, he Valkyries, he flashes. It does not matter. And that will be first blood over to D plus Kia.
Can't believe he didn't outplay that. Kind of shameful from Chovy on
Yeah,
the face.
honestly, yeah, he's just not on this game today. Unlucky.
As this is why Vi Ari is a strong combo already. And it's Showmaker picking up the kill as well. And I really love that because I think for Vi, the amount of extra scaling that you do as Lahens, I mean, maybe he gets a flash?
He's really trying for it. Oh no, he's just gonna get the kill!
Okay, you do have to flash Showmaker.
Showmaker's like, surely he doesn't do this. Lance is like, no, I'm doing this. Trust me. Gotten all out, and a play on the top side, no equalizer anymore. But there is a Sejuani here. Canyon also with no Glacial Prison. And this is an Udyr. A lot of damage being done, though, by the side of Keen, and now King is pretty low on the play, and the stacking of the Permafrost doesn't even really matter. They just had the damage to get it done.
Oh yeah, you gotta dive Pays here. Has heal and flash still available, but he's clearing the wave. See if they can find a window here. Nonetheless, Chovy doesn't have teleport available just yet, and Pays, I don't think he dies, but does have to abandon, so there's gonna be some gold going over. But that'll start, if Showmaker just flashes, I think he does get out, just underestimates the damage. Lahens, he's been watching his Hoonie VODs.
Very true, very true. And generally the supports don't build any of that tankiness, so. Yeah. We've seen it before. Seen it against the Corki. It's very good against Corki specifically.
Yeah, flashing not only gets you to safety, but it also reduces the damage that you take from the equalizer. So if he just flashes over the wall the moment, tries to keep it, and that snowballs, because if Lahens doesn't get that kill, and Showmaker's still alive, I don't know if they can go for this play towards the top side of the map and take down Kingen as well. Wasn't able to actually get the clear out on the wave. Great job as well by Keen there to continuously trade and keep him low. And this Udyr, unfortunately, also didn't really get the type of lead that I think you ideally want to see. It's still going to be a big nuisance because the Chang shredding on Genji isn't necessarily amazing as Kenyon. I'm going to take any risk, and I think DK really wants to take this dragon now with double ultimate on mid jungle available.
Yeah. That is one thing you mentioned, the tank busting on the side of Genji. You know, there's so much poke on the side of Genji. If you just stand in the front as Udyr, maybe that's his function. He's like, what is my function? Well, you stand in front of the team.
Oh God. And you run around.
That's all you do. That's all that matters.
Banana brush. A lot of poke.
And it's an equalizer. Chovy just going to use that, and by equalizer, of course, I mean package. Definitely different abilities.
Yeah, because Chovy actually goes with his equalizer.
True.
Showmaker does have TP available. I wonder if they want to actually invest that. Aiming, getting the crash on the wave. DK don't have any intel. See a lot of question markings going down. They're not running any risks. Now a ward over the wall.
Genji, honestly, Dragon's not that high value when the Chemtech Soul comes up.
Oh, you're playing into Ahri and Vi as well. They're running a risk here. Keen has TP, Kingen doesn't.
Oh, the collapse coming on in, and Showmaker not exactly winning that trade, so he's going to be zoned away, and that's going to be the Drake over to them, and it's a third Chemtech Soul in a row, just to up the action here at the LCK.
Oh, at this point we want it. Yeah, we need to get the full set. Very nicely done there by Genji. I think DK of 3 weeks ago would have all-in and lost.
Yeah.
But they identify we've been outmaneuvered here. The moment that Keen comes in, trying to go for the 4-5 doesn't work. Kingen has his TP now, but didn't have it at the time. That's going to be the end of it. And because of the TP from Chovy to top, they also don't lose out on too many platings. They don't really take a negative gold trade. Only upside, I think, for DK is that Aiming got some value as just take a whole lot of damage. Lahens is backing, otherwise he might have been into some serious trouble there.
Yeah. Sometimes the Varus can be a bit deceptive. You're like, okay, well, as long as I don't get hit by a big Q or anything, I should be fine. But Aiming steps right into his range and loses more than half his health just in the span of about 2 seconds. So, gotta be careful about that. And he does back. Looks like they're going going into the mid lane, actually, as we have had some swaps. We saw Chovy up in top, now he's back in mid, but now it looks like he's heading down towards the bottom lane with the Zeri and the Emilio showing in mid. And just gonna end up with both teams in a similar swap situation.
Right now, we also haven't actually seen DK make a move on the second round of grubs. Herald is spawning in half a minute. We'll see if they're able to maybe get to 5, but I think they instead are looking to just maintain prio and control of that area and look for Herald instead. This is also one of the games where the grubs don't really are going to have that much value. I think we saw in the TF game where you're playing more of a 1-through-1 style. When you have like a Tristana, I do think they definitely do have a lot of added value. In this case, as Showmaker says hi to his own teammate, I don't think either team is really going to lose any sleep over not getting those grubs. As Lehens, is he just baiting? DK decides yes. Yes, he is. And we will not be part of that. Chovy doesn't have TP, neither does Showmaker. With a full position being set up there, I don't know if Gen.G want to actually contest this. They are making their way over. Nice fight on for Kane as well.
Bit of a late contest here from the side of Gen.G. Doesn't look like they'll be able to steal it or anything like that. Keen is just looking at them menacingly, and they're just going to let them have it. See Lucid just stashes over the wall. Not a big amount of mid-prio either going the way of Gen.G, so kind of just resets after DK pick up the objective.
As good as the poke is, I do worry with Gen.G, more so than usual, about the late game, because I think eventually we reach a point with Milio and Udyr where, like, if Kingan's sitting on Koenig Rooker and like a Warmogs or something of the sorts, and Milio is going to be able to maybe get towards a redemption, although I imagine he does finish it now, but I imagine he's going to really get the kill second because of Canyon. But maybe you're just like, hey, Udi can tank that, and you have Milio ultimate, so we'll see. There's not that much you see on Gen.G. Their engage is pretty lackluster. So more so than usual with a poke comp, if they don't actually get some mid-game leads, the poke is going to have to land on aiming specifically, because you don't have a way to shut out this area out of late-game fights, and we have seen that this man can carry games on this area. He hasn't really made his mark yet, but not expected to just yet. And right now it's just it's a very different game from both game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's a game 3.
After
in
True, yeah.
In spirit as well.
Game 3 is definitely different from 2 and 1.
I don't know if you know what I mean.
I do.
I'm doing a bad job of explaining.
You were talking about predicting based on vibes alone, so I feel like, you know, just a bit of a vibe situation here in game number 3 that's a bit different from the other games.
Thanks, Valdes, for bailing me out. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, Aiming was maybe looking for a Zeri moment on the Drake, the second Drake, but now he's not really going to have too many opportunities to get that happening. As Kingan, he's tanky. Can he live against 3 people again? No, the answer will be again no, as Lehens this time will once again pick up the kill and is now 3-0 on a Rumble.
Lehens getting monstrously fed here. Lucid going a little bit far forward there. They won't even be able to actually get it. Great job from Keen there. Good response as DK look for the cross map. But it doesn't end up leading to too much. It's going to be first turret blood probably going over to Gen.G here as well. So they get the kill. They got first turret blood. They deny the mid lane turret being taken, so the Herald doesn't get that much value. He's aiming.
Running on forward. He is so fast, so difficult to get away from this one. His Pays is now Lehens on the run as well. And yeah, he's just going to be locked down. Not the disengage cone. Okay, it's a shutdown going to Aiming on Zeri. Maybe a bit of a mini Zeri moments there. As certainly a lot of gold is going to be handed over to Aiming on this big hyper carry.
I'm sure Wolf can let us know, but I'd be inclined to think so. That's a big shutdown on Lehens being found there. That might be the Drake going over as well. Although we do see Gen.G still aggressively contesting. TP coming in. Lehens is making his way back.
Yeah. Package here for Chovy. And you see that DK just don't really have any... I say that though, I mean, maybe they look for some picks with the Viari. But with this package available...
Yeah, they're down a lot of cooldowns as well, right? They used free ultimates for that play, so I'm okay with them giving it up. The call is a little bit late, so Chovy can TP the top again to ensure that it doesn't go down, which is what I imagine will happen. Probably pushes bot side, and then TPs towards top. as Soul Point's going to get taken. But realistically, Soul going over to Gen G doesn't mean that much. Especially not, like, obviously Cassante is going to be a nuisance as a... not a... That TP was not good. I wanted to do the callback, but I'm not brave enough.
It's okay. It's all right.
But it was a bad TP. That is a
moment.
that is a waste from Chovy there. It did, you know, follow the right sentiment, I think, but had to really commit that earlier. Ready for a wave, I think, there towards the bottom end of the map.
Yeah, I mean, he's just Chovying about, you know, trying to pick up every wave he can, trying to cut corners. This time he gets punished. And so did Lahens in this play.
Yeah, they really weren't expecting, I think, this level of aggression to come through here. And just Zeri going in, that's one thing. But Lucid, again, the value of this Vi has been so insanely big. And into immobile carries like Rumble, like Varus, you're always going to get a ton of value. Mid lane turret does eventually fall. Aiming sitting on a bounty now as well. I do love the Serpent's Fang, though. That's into Udyr and Milio. Big fan.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all into what they're going up against. Especially if DK can get their hands on some Chemtech breaks, although not sure that will happen in this game. Gen G just going to group up a pretty plain 5-man group up in mid. They just secure a mid-tier 1. It's happened in game 1 as well. Bit of a different situation in that one. As you mentioned, game 1 different from game 3. But yeah, they just move in, take it away, and there's not much of a response from the side of DK. As now, we are going to have the cleanse come forward from the Milio is flashed away by Kellen, and now an equalizer is coming down. Kind of a half-hearted committal there from the side of Gen G, but they get some summoners out.
Not bad. I think you still take it. Flash on Kellen is big in particular because Milio already is so squishy, so any misposition is going to be a really big window of opportunity for Gen G. Showmaker was roaming towards the mid half of the map as that was breaking out in case there was a fight, but I think DK very happy that it didn't happen. And as mentioned, I think that the DK composition late game pivots away from Lucid and Showmaker really popping off, and they didn't really have the same amount of agency that they did in the last game because they were so fed. So it's going to be more about aiming. Again, I don't think there's a lot of lockdown for this Zeri. The one thing that I would be a little bit scared about is to what extent you can actually burst through Keen, because he has been gone completely unchecked as Showmaker might be in trouble. No TP available.
He's already taken a bunch of damage, and they're going to get the Spirit Rush out and just leave it at that. Be happy to get some value out of it. And Showmaker can't really even stand there anymore. He just has to kind of back away awkwardly from this one and maybe wait for Chovy to leave, which doesn't look like he will. And so that might just be another turret going over to Gen G up on the top side of the map.
We have Paze there in the ruler spot, but he's like, I don't trust this. I'm not I've seen enough videos of my predecessor to know that this is where bad things happens to any Varus. Lucid did just give away his positioning, but he has Mega Cones, so, and there's not a lot of vision. They know, right? Like,
I believe they do. Okay. They saw him again, and
I guess he's fine.
Yeah. Just gonna disengage Cone.
They don't have a lot of vision, so for all they know, like, there's 3 people waiting in the brush, so understand why they don't go to him. There's Canyon. I didn't actually catch who he put his Knights Fountain. I guess it's Chovy. Yeah, yes. That makes sense. Good call. Generally, if you have Chovy on your team, I feel like it's a safe bet. Yeah.
Paze is kind of left to his lonesome. Probably going to sit a little bit farther in the back. Chovy might be dive bombing a little bit with the packages and stuff like that. Also, the mid and jungler are going to be closer together more often, so yeah, kind of makes sense why he puts it on Chovy instead, especially with the champ that Chovy is playing. It's a lot of pings in that brush. Seems like Chovy had a pretty good idea that there was a little gank brush set up.
Will we see an aggressive contest for Chemtech, or is it just a tool for DK to threaten the Baron?
I think DK might just let it go and say, okay, spawn the Elder.
And we do get 2 backs with 25 seconds left on the clock, so, and everyone's running down. So I guess we're committing to fighting for the Chemtech soul. as Aiming does just now finish his quick blade, so free item spike hit. He is monstrously strong on this area.
All right, let's see it as Keen just gonna run into the enemy jungle and is totally fine.
It took damage for Kasante's. Oh, no, never mind.
Never mind. We get the Omega healing anti-action.
Banana brush. They can't walk in.
Yeah, and with the package held now, trying to get in on top of Chovy. The burst damage is not there, and Showmaker on the flank trying to take up pace here.
They're low.
It's pretty close, and with the Zeri, he's gonna get the pick off. Showmaker does it again.
He lives!
And that pushes them away. So many low health bars here on the side of Gen G, and this Zeri still full health. He tries to get the pick, it's not gonna happen. Again, it's a Zeri as the spike does go the way of Canyon though. That is Chemtech Soul, but Aiming looking to have his moment. He wants to get his stamp over the wall. He goes, flashes into two of them. And will take out the one. Chovy desperate. And he's just gonna Valkyrie away to his death. It's a double kill, 6,000 damage for Aiming, and D+ win the fight.
And even with Aiming's ult timing out mid-fight, he was still able to do the damage. So much use out of this free item power spike, and crucial here is Lucid ends up going down, but the package is used defensively. And a lot of damage goes into this front line. Then Showmaker does a lot of heavy lifting as well as Baron is being taken in the picture-in-picture because he forces the rest of Gen G to pull back. Lands, outside of his ultimate, wasn't really able to have a big impact in that fight. And then Showmaker making it over. All of this is just setting up for the perfect opportunity for, as long as pace doesn't make it close, they should be fine. And they will be able to pick it up. And that is a trade, I think, as DK, you take every time.
You take it every time. Yes, the Chemtech Soul, probably good on Kasante. Other than that, it's kind of like whatever, right? You get a Baron, you're going to push ahead in gold. That's going to be many, many times more valuable here in this game, especially given the amount of tempo they can build here in the mid-game to try to get a big gold advantage before the Elder Drake spawns in 4.5 minutes.
Now, though, last game we saw, not the
Keen comes in, and now Keen, yeah, he's real tanky. Doesn't matter. As he immediately gets burst down, the rest of the team not even there to help him. And D+ Kia, look at this team right now.
No one is that tanky as the poke from Aiming strikes true. They don't have the wave though.
Now Kingen also extremely tanky. Oh, wow. Oh, jeez. That was quite a lot of damage from the side of Chovy.
Man, the Frozen Heart Koenig Rooker meta of week 1 to 3 could never. But now tanks are killable, Valdez.
Wow.
That said, though, with that, the Red Bull power play again comes to a rather lackluster end. I think you're really looking to get more out of it. As Keen, my guy, you are Kasante, but you can't just walk up into a brush against 5 people. And then here, unfortunately, Redemption is a little bit late. Really nicely done here, I think, by Canyon, getting the ultimate there. Damages and the follow-up is great, even with the melee Redemption just a second too late, but really that's not on Callan. And that's, again, like, they got a turret out of it, and a kill.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I caught up
That's
and
not-
listened to the game.
We've got a minute and a half.
Yeah, I know, but I don't trust them. Although, they are actually using the Baron buff in multiple ways.
Yeah, and
so
hey,
that's a win.
They've been better this series
Yeah, no,
than we've seen in the regular season.
I
So-
think in general, DK has definitely been trending upwards. I'm with you on that one. And hey,
Absolutely.
for Aiming,
Everybody on Gen G is like mid or bot, and Aiming is just pushing top. And yeah, Keen is very tanky, but like,
is he?
the point is like he can't clear this wave. So Aiming can just walk up, take a turret, nobody else is here. And Gen G, honestly, are not really responding to this pressure.
Because they haven't been pressured. I want to reiterate, Gen G lost 1 game in round robin 2. One, and it was to these knuckleheads. 1 game, Valdez.
These rascals over here, D+ Kia.
And the reason why we're getting a little bit excited is because DK, even going up to match point, despite how the rest of the series plays out, already I think would be kind of shocking. And I know that their mid to late game hasn't been great, but Aiming on this Zeri with a 3.7k gold lead, and that's, I mean, Pace he's died once. Like, Pace isn't the issue here, but Aiming definitely is for Gen G. And
Yeah,
now you have
I mean,
Redemption, McHale's, level 11 Milio, heal, No lockdown.
Yeah, no dragons, no problem. And he has done the most damage to Lucid. Kind of an awkward spot, but it's actually Lehens who's in also a very awkward spot. Gonna force out the TP here from Keen. And that's pretty early on. We still got a minute and a half until this Elder Drake does spawn.
It's just Elder Flip again, isn't it? It's gonna happen.
But this time DK are gonna have teleport advantage.
Yeah.
So an opportunity.
A possibility. As long as Chovy, level 60 now, I imagine he's going to have Void Staff done as well. His package usage is going to be pivotal because, as mentioned, I think that at this point in the game...
Another free turret.
If Kingen is able to get his worker online, which he should be able to, like especially with the healing from Kellen as well, a lot of the poke isn't going to be that big of a deal. It really is going to come down to just can Chovy and Lehens get that big wombo combo with the equalizer? Because if not, good luck in killing aiming.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the draft when it was happening, but the fact that you picked Vi and Zeri in the same rotation, plus you already banned Nautilus in the first round, means that there's not a great answer. Unless you're going to pick, like, I don't know. There's no other really point-and-click, non-cleansable CC. So you can't even say, like, oh, we'll just pick Rammus.
Oh, no, yeah, no, I was about to say.
Why even the god that is Rammus?
Disrespecting my boy Rammus.
Not even him could do it. Not against this, because it just gets cleansed, and that's why non-cleansable point CC is the king right now in the LCK.
I don't think a Season 2 champion could get on top of Zeri, unfortunately.
Well, Vi can.
You know what? Checkmate. Let's need better.
That's what we're talking about. This is the one chance.
Oh, I know.
Now, we do have a Elder Drake that is spawning.
This is it. It's all or nothing. 4 of item done. Void Staff here for Chovy. This is the fight that probably is going to end up deciding the game, unless we get a really weird situation in which like only a single member lives.
Yeah.
Look at the control for Gen G here.
And Kingen can't really utilize his teleport advantage because, you know, he's an Udyr, he doesn't push that fast. Also, he needs to soak damage in the front line here for his team.
I'm going to try and time out this package.
And the poke is not landing. Well, I say that and immediately lands. Kingen in the front line, he's being burst, and they don't quite get through it. The redemption this time is right on time, but over the wall goes Chovy. And immediately, oh, he's doing so much damage with that equalizer, and that should be enough. As Gen G routing them, but now on the dragon is aiming. Might be able to finish this off.
Can you go in?
Yeah, he just has smite. Okay, I guess that's it. That's just the way the game ends. Elder Drake is taken by Gen G. And the game will end. Aiming doesn't matter if he doesn't have a team to help him out.
So, wait, we're 31 seconds in, and they need to push traffic with 5 people, though. You got to imagine that they're going to be able to.
They have Elder for over 2 minutes with the 4 elemental drakes. I mean,
it's just a clean ace. There, you saw the attempt. Lucid and Showmaker try to flip it around on Chovy, and it doesn't work. They just end up going down. There's not enough space. Lucid, Showmaker are going to be coming in. But I don't think they can defend here.
I mean, Lucid's a Vi, like he's just going to be burnt to a crisp. There's Elder Drake, and 1 by 1. Yeah, they might be able to get lands here. Maybe, okay, they do, but yeah.
Waves here.
They just don't have a Nexus.
Can't do it.
That's going to do it. The Elder fight is won by Gen G, and so will the game be. 2-1 now in the series, going the way of Gen G.
All according to plan for Gen G. Get to the Elder flip, win it. It wasn't even an Elder flip, because by the time that we actually got to taking down the Elder, that was the end of it. Kingen taking a lot of damage there. The Udyr not really fulfilling the frontline role that I think they envisioned for in really either tank, not doing that great a job in that. And then the moment that Chovy went in, I voted for Chovy, by the way, I don't know. He had the package.
He pressed his package button on, and then he pressed the Zhonya's.
Yeah,
and then the game ended, because after they all tried to turn onto him, they realized, hey, we're right on top of a package. So I think it was Showmaker and Lucid, both of them just died.
They did.
And it was like, okay, well, now it's just over.
It was.
And that was it. Aiming, he gave over 1,000 gold at the end because he was so fed, he had so many kills, and it just all went to nothing because of one team fight. Look at the gold difference graph. That really tells the story there at the end of the game.
Chovy's Corky, man. He doesn't lose late game fights on that.
He did press his package very well in that last fight. Guys, we are done here for the 3rd game. We are going to take a break and have the space to break down that 3rd game. We will be right back.
무딜 아니야? 가자. 야 시간. 야 이거 미리 썼잖아 굴려면. 내가 먹게. 이게 뚫리지만 말자 이거.
뭐야 어디 갔어?
역으로.
아니 전혀 없어 얘들아.
천천히 타워. 야 바이부터. 타워. 라인 저기 그냥 깨야 돼. 아리 공 있어. 타워.
나한테 왔다.
어차피 젤이 없어. 이겼어. 타워.
알았어. 와
나이스. 힘들구만. 어우야.
Do you have so little faith in your own light? Only you can save us. But first you have to try. Once more.
Stand with me, agents of Valorant. Let's push back these invaders. Let's save our home.
소비가 한판 엎어치기를 이게 얼마짜리 토스인가요? 대왕돼지 완전 호랑인데요. 쇼메이커 플레이메이킹 메이커 루시드 쇼메이커 아니 디플러스기야 이런 초력.
One enemy remaining.
back to the space, ladies and gentlemen. We have, once again, a Gen.G victory. This one was preluded by DK basically winning the entire game, but it did start with a draw. So let's dive into that, gentlemen. Let's go over exactly what was picked this time. I think Gen.G with a little bit more of a composition than what they had in the previous game.
A little bit more. You know, I will generally agree with you. I do like the draft here a lot from D+, though, because they have a Zeri, they have the Nautilus band away, they took the Vi away, so there's not a lot of great tools to lock this down. They also then lock the Ahri, so they have Ahri Vi. They also have a lot of ways to keep this Zeri safe. The Milio, we were a little bit concerned about how the laning phase was going to go, but actually they handled it pretty well. And then Milio had so much utility later on once the Redemption came through, and then obviously later on the Mikhails. So it's very difficult to kill aiming, who was constantly pushing and getting tons of gold. He took like 4 turrets this game, maybe even 5. They just let him alone, and he got tons of money. And I think Gen.G played overall way better or rather, D+ played way better than Gen.G did, but they made some bad decisions in the end. And this is just trademark D+ for me, or I'm like, you guys are doing everything right until the most important moment, and then you drop the ball.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, Gen.G has a better composition compared to last game. I mean, that's a really big deal to want, first of all. But I think the DK as well, like, if you see the composition, has a 1v1 front line, which is it's Udyr. And it's like only one gauge tool. It's like, it's just like rely on an Ahri Vi. It's like, it's a lot. And it's just like the front line, if you're not, the Udyr is not actually farmed up. Like, it's just like we've seen like multiple times in this game, like Udyr just got popped and not was like actually useful. So a lot of time it was like hard to actually deal with in the team during the team fight, and no one was be able to actually tanking the Corki, handling the Corki package or the Corki the missiles as well. It's just that Gen.G was kind of taking slow face in the team fight. It's just like was kind of leaning towards the Gen.G favor.
Yeah, it just didn't quite work out for D+ in that one at the very, very end. But we do want to celebrate some of the better times. So let's dive into Highlight 1 and have a look at some of the decent moments here for D+.
I mean, this is a big Showmaker reel here. He's flanking, he's trying to get some additional vision here. He and King collapsing in, and then when we do see the engage here, it's pretty insane what Chovy is trying to pull off here, but he puts himself in a vulnerable spot. Instead, though, of going for the Corki, Hayes is put down to like 10% health. Showmaker flashes in and is able to just fly by and take him out. And then his escape here as well is so well played. The Rumble ultimate completely whiffs.
Yeah, I mean, just basically Showmaker just won by himself. He's hold this team fight, and it's just the completely different thing is like even though they have a package in the Corki, like I think DK were so decisive to just try to burn the package first, and we can actually win after because we still have Arias on the flank, and then Zeri and Emilius be already ready to just follow up. So I think this is the fight that really DK like has to approach every single time when Corki has a package, and then something happened in the next one.
He's out of rockets. He has no package, so he can be the last one to die. That's totally fine. They just actually prioritized the Varus. That was a really good call from Showmaker to actually switch targets there, and Pays just completely out of position.
Yeah, it just didn't quite work out there. That was an example of how you're supposed to deal with the Corki when the package has been picked up. You know, shut him down, immediately force him to use it defensively. This is an example of how to use the package aggressively.
Now, look at where Showmaker is at the beginning of this fight. He was dealing with the bottom wave, so he's so out of position. When this fight breaks out, there's nothing he could do to really peel here. We do see the Redemption coming down onto Kingdom, but he's already out of this fight. And then the angle here now for Chovy, knowing where Ahri is super easy because they have a ward there. He's able to just get over the wall here with the Rumble ultimate on top of him. Showmaker just dies. He shows up only to die. He can't make the huge impact he did on the last Drake fight because he's so late to the party. And Gen.G, they crushed that part of the fight instantly just based on D+ being super split.
It's just the biggest blunder. It's just basically the DK were already late in the spot, and also it's a different thing. It's the Corki obviously has a better item. It deals much better, and as I said before, in the draft phase, it's just the Udyr has to be like has more gold and has become tankier, and basically just be able to wasn't really be able to handle the Corki poke.
Yeah, the Udyr kind of felt a bit like a potato in this game. Didn't quite work out, but now it is time for the POG. Let's see whether he's going to be robbed or not. And he won't. It is the 4-2-5 Corki, 800 DPM, and Understandable, even though they were kind of losing the whole game, he helped win the last team fight.
Yeah,
he gets it.
He didn't do that much for most of the game, and even ended up dying to that Lucid gank early. It's probably the most memorable moment for Chovy until the end, where this happens. And I think this is, you know, one of those votes that might be split just because it is simply I packaged over the wall, we won the team fight, but this is really a D+ error more than a huge heroic play from Chovy, because they could have won this fight a multitude of different ways. And this is the moment, if you're a D+ fan, where you're so frustrated, you're throwing something at the screen, you're slamming your fist on the table, because if they had just set up for the most important objective a little bit better and contested the neutral fight a little bit better, maybe it's a different result. Maybe they end up taking this, they're up 2-1. But they botched it.
Yep. Couple of Lehen's votes, of course. His 3 kills in the early game were quite impressive, but then did give a little bit of money over to the Zeri. Do you want to give a rating to Lehen's, or should we give it a pass? What are we thinking?
I'll just pass it.
All right, fair enough. So DK have chosen the blue side yet again. What are the chances, gentlemen, that we just get silver scrapes because blue side's going to win the whole series?
I think D+ are really going to be tested in terms of their mental fortitude here. Lucid, can he recover? Can he come back? It wasn't his fault by any means, but the shot calling wasn't there in that last moment. Is that going to get into your head moving to this one, knowing that it's match point? That's the question we're going to find the answer to.
Yeah, they have to bring up more the levels that should be able to match against Genji, especially the macro play, objective control. Like, it's just, as a team playing, like, I think it has to be matched up.
Well, we'll see whether they can match it as we move towards game number 4. It is now time to throw it over to Valdez and Chronicle.
That's us. Thank you, Atlas and Huni and Wolf, for that awesome breakdown. We're getting ready for game 4. D+ Kia moving back to the blue side. Will that help them not lose Elder fights? I'm not so sure, but maybe can give them a spot in the draft that can help them out, as it did in game number 2.
Maybe Genji also lose their minds like they did on red side in game number 2. That would help a lot as well, because I do think it's important to remind everyone that that game was close despite the draft cap, and we still saw DK have a you know, little couple of moments that maybe didn't feel so great.
Yeah.
Really, the big one though that I think in draft went wrong in the last game, it was the Udyr, right? The Udyr didn't really hit the mark, but I don't think they lost the game, and I think Space did a really good job of highlighting that it really just came down to, as it has been a consistent issue for this team, I feel like outside of specifically smites or winning great team fights beforehand, their objective control just hasn't been very good. They've been late to objectives many a time, and it's something that they're going to need to fix against a team that probably, you know, barring a team rushing an early Darren, has the best objective control in the LCK, because they're just not going to let you get these objectives so easily.
Yeah, so far, same bans from game number 2 when D+ was last on the blue side. No big switch-ups. Last time around, though, we did see D+ Kia get that first pick Vi. I do wonder if that will be let through once again. I mean, the third ban of Callista from Genji also seems pretty strong, so let's see what they decide. Same bans here from the side of D+ Kia.
I don't mind the Vi. I think Vi's perfectly fine. Lucid in the last game didn't have the greatest impacts, but we still saw the value of the Vi, why it's strong. The play in mid was a, as Wolf put it, one of the more memorable moments of that game. Didn't really have as much going on as game number 2, but more than game number 1. So we'll take those, and you do have a really good Zeri player yourself as well, Genji. So I like this a lot. I think it takes away one of the stronger picks. As we have 2 options, and one is the right one.
It's not bad.
It's not this.
So you could go Lucian Nami.
Don't pick Zyra
or
Maokai, please.
Or you could just pick Ahri, if you did want to utilize that again.
Lucian Nami is fine. It's not exciting, but we've talked about this many a time. We know why it's picked. And with the Vi, I don't mind it.
Lucian Nami Zeri. Can you finish the sentence? It's like one of those pattern questions.
Can you give me a letter?
Lucian Nami.
Yeah, okay.
Zeri.
Can you give me a letter?
You.
Lulu. No. Yeah, I got it right.
Udyr? No.
Udyr?
Mukai? No, yeah, it's just Zeri Lulu. Up against Lucian Nami. Luna.
Spike down A.
Is that Lulu?
Zeri Lulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Zeri Lulu.
Yeah.
Ari banned away. That doesn't.
There's plenty of other picks. Ari, I do think, is a great ban. Like this adaptation from Genji, even though it wasn't enough in game number 3, we did still see Showmaker, I think, have a solid performance on that one. As the Corki is gonna get banned away. Yeah, you know what? You might as well bite the bullet on that one. I know Chovy's Azir is still gonna be amazing, but it just doesn't feel as inevitable as his Corki does. I swear to God, I can't remember the last time I've seen Genji lose like a game-winning fight on Corki. I just feel like they always win. The package is just, it's too much power for this man.
It is very strong. The package itself, I feel like, should be a champion. Kassadin.
So there are four in Azir, right? Like that's what we're looking at here.
I mean, Talia's still available. Like Ahri Vi is the biggest one because of the mobility associated with the Ahri as well. But Talia, the follow-up on point and click is also very strong.
Talia is most likely, I do think, if the Azir does get locked in. You could go Sylas as well, because if they go Azir here, obviously Sylas into Azir is a matchup that Showmaker is comfortable with. I would like it. I would like a Sylas angle. I think Maokai ult is one of the big reasons why we initially saw Sylas come back. That is something that I was also thinking about, which I do think Syndra right now is somewhat undervalued, and it does have the same level of synergy. You can start with a Vi ult, then follow up. You don't really have to dive the same way, but the core 4 champions of Syndra, Vi, Lucianami is insane.
Or just a Rek'Sai.
Yeah, we didn't mention this. This is actually open. Love that. You can still go, obviously, for whatever you feel like, but you give yourself more time. This seems like a no-brainer. Rek'Sai, Kingen has been looking incredibly, I think the best Rek'Sai probably that we've seen thus far.
Look at Showmaker's face. He just can't decide. I think range would not be bad.
You're playing into TF, most likely. Oh boy, that is another classic combo. Vi LeBlanc, and this I don't think this will be the Shiv LeBlanc. This should be full AP LeBlanc coming out here from Showmaker.
I feel like there were a lot of good options. LeBlanc is not really one of the meta picks, I think, for a reason, but it has lockdown, and Urgot, yes, is the choice into Rek'Sai.
Absolutely love this. Oh man, I've been waiting. This 2 patches ago, Urgot was immensely broken. Feldas looks at me because
game 5.
Because he no. Hear me out.
Okay.
Crab's great. He was more busted because of the whole breaker interaction. Because the whole breaker actually worked on his W. Now you have to toggle it. It's a bit of a nuisance. But back then it just worked. But yet 20 seconds low with the turret could blow him up. Urgot into tanks. Absolutely a classic. Black Cleaver is insanely strong on him. He's one of the few champions that can actually chew through these type of reliable front lines. It does leave them without great engage outside the Maokai. And even though the 1v1 is good, we have not seen Urgot have a lot of success. But I'm a believer. Valdez, I like it a lot.
Drawing.
It's great. He's so tiny.
It says that she was drawing a Chihuahua and she messed up halfway through. It looks perfect to me. That is super cool. Love the Genji Tiger.
Little free 0 crossed out. It's a free one. It's fine.
Yeah.
No one notices.
Seen a bit of that amongst the signs here. And yeah, pretty interesting. The LeBlanc does come back. Can work very well with the Vi. And Urgot was picked. Definitely some experimentation into the Rek'Sai in the top lane. We'll see if it works out for Genji as we hop into the Rift for game number 4. Alrighty, here we go. Game number 4. Time for D+ to really make it interesting. Or will Genji just move on as the predicted winner of this matchup? I don't think it would surprise too many people. I think D+ Key have already made this series very interesting, more interesting than some of us did believe it would be. So props to them for making it happen.
Even that last game felt very up in the air up until the point where, you know, they just straight up lost and got clean aced. That was a bit unfortunate. As we do see Keen going for fleet footwork, there's a couple of options. PDA is another one, but you're not really expected to get
Spike
caught up in
down
early
B.
all-ins with Kingen, also going for TP, which definitely a lot safer. Does take away some of the level 6 threat that the champion has. We'll see what Keen ends up building here. As mentioned, Hopebreaker insanely strong on Urgot, but could possibly be just Cleaver, because you're going to be playing into full tank as the early ward is placed.
30 seconds.
King 2-0 on the Rex side so far.
Yeah. And first pick for Keen here in 2024, not a big surprise.
Last round before the switch.
And he's just going to stand here. Last person to play this, unsurprisingly, was Keen. That was with KT last year up against Birdall on the side of Live Sandbox.
Yeah, Urgot really is a relic from a more civilized time in League of Legends, when it was just him and Aatrox battling it out every game.
Yes, very civilized. Not a lot of changes.
Just the same champion. Well, people that have been around for a long time know about old Urgot, which had an ult that allowed you to swap position. I would recommend looking it up. It's very goofy.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's like when, what was it, Poppy had an ultimate that if you use it on someone, it only allowed that person to damage her. So you just had support Poppy that didn't actually do any supporting, but she just
press
the ult on the carry, and it's like, well, guess we're winning the fight.
Yeah. A lot of those abilities have gone to the wayside. We still have some of them, such as Vi and Nautilus, and you'll see those in many a game. Hey, there's Vi in this game, and Nautilus was banned. Actually, Nautilus wasn't banned. Huh. Well, no Nautilus in this game. Anyway, we have a little bit of a play being made here. Here comes FaZe over the wall, takes a massive chunk of damage. Might even die to the minions. That would be embarrassing, but he's not going to have to use the barrier.
Yeah, it was close, closer than I think he would have liked it to be. Big mistake there, overstepping, and especially this early on in levels, that is a big amount of burst. And FaZe and lands.
A chance for aiming.
Yeah.
Oh.
They have really, I think, actually stepped up in terms of laning phase, but this is a big pressure point here.
Yep.
Because it means Canyon needs to kind of hover towards the bot side of the map, as we saw there, and gives Lucid the opportunity. As there's still barrier available, I still don't think you should try and look for an all-in air. Don't take that risk, but just the zoning alone is going to get you a big lead. They might even be able to get the crash in here. So big win early on for DK. Lucian Nami winning lane?
It's been a while, yeah.
What?
I don't know what universe we're in, but yeah, we've seen a lot of our Zeri Lulus hit level 2 first, and essentially just own the lane. But part of the reason why that didn't happen is because Kellen and Aiming got there so early, right? They controlled the brushes, as we do have a nice trade here. The chain's going to land here on a Toby, but it's just fine. Some gold from the first strike going over to Showmaker. But yeah, Aiming and Kellen, they really prioritized the bottom lane level 2. They got there first, they traded up, and even though Gen.G's bottom lane knew they were there, they still weren't quite able to match it. And so they got pushed in early. They weren't able to extend that lead. Generally with the Lulu, you could hit the minions very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Picks, but wasn't the case in this game.
Yeah, as you point out, definitely a big win for Aiming and Kellen. Also because of the bot side gank not working out for Canyon, Lucid was able to clear 2 extra buffs, and he was able to actually go back and not just buy the usual, which he's bought in every pack, which is Longsword Ruby Crystal, but he also was able to pick up an early...
Fairy in a bottle.
Fairy in a bottle, yeah. I swear I know what the name of that is. I just can't think right now. And an early...
Ability
keyboard.
haste thing?
I really...
That's the other name.
That's the colloquial name. Fairy in a bottle is the...
That's the official name?
That's the official name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely also not official, by the way.
Well, it can be Auske
official to me, yeah.
We have a lot of leeway in this league for naming things.
Not a lot of League Sin in this series, though.
You ever wondered what happened to Shirley? Because we only have Shelly now.
She's just on vacation.
Nice, good for her.
You know, she worked really hard for all those years. And
she did. She saw a lot of teams throw right in front of her.
She did, yeah. There were one too many teams that decided that Shirley was the objective to go all in on.
The amount of pro games I've costed, where we had Morgan on Renekton, 5 manning as early Drake is getting taken. And with this drop, I don't think either team is going to be looking to do a whole lot before level 6. I mean, Gen.G is not looking to do anything. for like, I don't know, 25 minutes. So, don't expect there'll be a lot of action.
Oh yeah. It's what I said was going to happen.
Oh,
we get Hextech Soul in game 4, and then when we get to game 5, we get Chemtech Soul again.
No, fellas, the prophecy.
The prophecy is coming true. Already 3 Chemtech Souls, at least for game 4. We can let it go. We can enjoy our good soul.
It's okay. Lucid has level 6 already.
Although it could be Ocean.
It could be, yeah.
Which I think is actually not that bad.
No, with the amount of tanks available.
Amount of tanks, you've got some decent amount of poke. What with like LeBlanc Lucian on the side of DK. Sears area a little bit less so, but still it exists. I think it has value.
One of the things that I'm really going to be interested to see is to which extent Showmaker is actually going to be able to play, because later on I feel like Lulu into champions like LeBlanc is such an incredibly obnoxious thing to deal with, because if you make a mistake, you go in, you get polymorphed, you might just end up getting CC'd to death. Outside of Canyon, I don't think the CC setup is that great, but it's still something that you're gonna have to respect as Jovi. Even with bone blading, is like, no, I don't want to deal with that. Neither Keen nor Kingen has backchat. The gentleman's agreement of not doing a whole lot. Canyon is still level 5.
Canyon's taking a bunch of damage, but level 6 Vi will get the job done, as now Canyon, as you mentioned, in a bit of trouble, but he just flashes away and, you know, phase rush and just enough movement speed, he gets away. He's totally fine.
Whoa, I didn't even see him there.
He is.
No problem at all.
Definitely just didn't really ideally want to be in that position anyway. I do think they spotted Lucid a little bit earlier on, but yeah. Does have a lot of innate safety, and also he's basically a support, so who cares about his camps? But Lucid doing a really good job of capitalizing, and this is the first time, I think Lucid has had a decent series, but the first time he's actually been ahead in farm. Due to the gang towards bot side not working out, it's kind of been a snowball effect from that. As Keen, you do need items, man. You don't have a broken passive like Rek'Sai. You do, all you do, you have your legs, and they're really strong. But you need to go back. You need to spend your gold. That should be 6. Finally. 8.5 minutes in.
Yay! He did it. Keen also did it. Went back, bought some items, and actually does things. But
Genji's like, this is going to 40 minutes anyway, who cares?
Yeah. Sit around. Oh, wow, look at the value there. The double tunnel.
The little zoom in as well from the observers. They're like, yeah.
It was pretty satisfying.
It was.
Wait, Kingen didn't go back.
No, he hasn't been able to back. ASTP, so it doesn't really matter. He should not. Like, you can trade with Keen, but he does have his ultimate available. I don't really think you should try and flip. Just spend your gold, man. Go home.
Or you can just fire the little underground missile
Prey Seeker
things. Yes. At the wave, and then
not do a whole lot to it.
Yeah. Okay, he's gonna go back.
Should be able to catch the wave nonetheless, as Lucid's snuck in here. Chovy, this is like the first time that this has happened. Or like Lucid's like either in a brush or walking into it like, nope, now you're here.
He bought a full Sunfire.
Wow.
I guess he just needed a little bit of extra money, as now the flash on in from Lucid. Canyon in a lot of trouble. You can't get away from the Vi, as desperate to get over to the right side, but he is absolutely dead. The only question is who they give the kill over to. Lucid don't take it away from Showmaker. Not sure why he did that, but okay.
I assume that was the call. Like, there was no reason for him to queue there. Wonder why, though, because I agree.
There's just no reason to.
I don't know. Maybe they thought it wouldn't kill him? Wonder what the call behind that is. He does now finish, and maybe it's because he's already so far ahead in the 1v1. Getting an even bigger lead allows him to further push it.
Parry by jungle?
Well, to be fair, if you have Sundered Sky and the enemy Maokai has a Night's Vow, he does not actually get to walk up to anything ever. And Canyon, unfortunately, the first part of playing Peanut-style Maokai is falling behind early, but then you do need to play really cleanly and kind of recuperate. That part, we'll see.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on that one.
See about that. And, I mean, in pro play, it's not like Lucid's just going to be able to utilize this lead in the 1v1 and perma-invade jungle with, like, no response from the lanes or anything like that. So he'll be ahead. He'll have an early Sundered Sky. He is going to be a big factor in these next fights. And
I would have much, just to be clear, I would have much rather had it on the LeBlanc as well, because Showmaker in the side lane is, I think, one of the big ways that you can also shut down something that makes Gen G such a threatening team, which is that Chovy just seems like he's always winning sides.
Yeah.
As Chovy went for, really interesting, I wonder if it was just a gold problem, went for the early parts of, so he went for Haunting Guys, and then into Nashers. Well, obviously you can build it into Leandries first as well, but
just get all the
don't really
components.
see that anything outside of Tankazir. I guess, yeah. Should be the early Drake here. I don't think Gen G should be willing to contest this.
No, not with how strong
They have a Drake.
is.
They got the first dragon.
Yeah. Knight's Vow here onto Chovy. Not going to use that on the Zeri. Probably just for now, I would imagine, as the game comes along.
For sure.
You want that on your Zeri. Meanwhile, Canyon, in this case, you definitely cannot walk up to the Vi.
Yeah, just, again, Vi already is just really good into tanks because of the way that her W just removes a lot of armor. And he's Sundered Sky as well, so
yeah.
Good call. There's Runaway. There's the cleaver that we were talking about earlier from Keen. Does finish it now. Wonder if he's going to go like more of a, which I imagine in Pro is going to be a lot more consistent, go for like a Bruiser style build where you end up with Starex. Jack shows obviously really good onto Urgot as well. As early Drake and Veldas just knows everyone.
Just calling. I did initially say it was Hextech. Ooh. Chovy. Getting the
crowd
ankles
going,
broken.
oh.
Yeah. The crowd liked that one. Especially because we're on the DK side of the arena. And in this case, if you've got some prio, you can just do this, but Canyon still is going to hold on to his buff. And so he will be able to stay somewhere within the region of about 25 CS behind. Not so bad.
Yeah, mistake by Lucid there. Definitely has a lot more burst, but didn't quite time it correctly there. And we do see Keen, yeah, especially now that Cleaver is done. So the amount of armor that is going to be shredded from Kingen makes it so obnoxious. The thing is, I like this in theory, but practically, Kingen's sustain is so insane that I don't know if you're in lane going to get any value. I do think, though, that it's important to remember that one of the big problems that we've seen with Rek'Sai Tank is that in team fights, she rather doesn't die, right? Like, never, ever. And I feel like if you look at Keen as just a black clear.
Uh-oh.
Pace!
And he face checks here as Pace is in a lot of trouble, calling to the face, aiming. Gonna take him out with a little bit of help from Kellen. As a very nice timing to get in position to punish Pace on that face check. It is his own jungle after all, but now Pace isn't here, and that should be the full turret going over to the side of DK.
Oh, really big mistake from Pace there. Yeah, you might get Herald. I don't think DK is going to be too hamstrung. They might try to contest this, maybe. They do have King and maybe on a TP angle, but like you're getting first turret blood. Aiming is getting fed. The gold lead is growing as Lucid realizes that the 2 levels up crab maybe not the best guy to go to. Decides to run away instead. Pay's like, I'm checking everything now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, got to be very careful of that. And now he's down 2 levels on his counterpart in the 80 carry. And we'll take another look. Let's go this way. Let's go for Zeri. Got Zeri.
And if Lahans,
that's all he said.
If Lahans is on the other side of the map, like Pace dies there because Vi was already roaming over. But Lahans was actually on his way.
Can they actually kill the Urgot here? I mean, the lockdown from the leash, perhaps as Redemption also coming in. Not quite fast enough from Lahans. Nice try though, but a good capitalization here from the LeBlanc and the Vi. You can extend those picks so far because both those picks have so much mobility.
Showmaker to assist now on the board as well, and able to utilize again the CC that this Vi provides. I wonder if we're going into a game number 5, if they're gonna start taking this away. Because even in the game that they didn't win, obviously Lucid's final wasn't great, but it feels like it's not about Lucid specifically, but also what it allows Showmaker to do. It allows him to build up these leads as, yeah, Keen saw that. He's like, I'm still not building any MR, guys. I am straight to steel caps. Understandably. But looking at Rek'Sai, and it's mainly Rek'Sai I'm going to be focused on here. If she gets an Ocean Soul with triple Ocean Drake, I don't think Black Cleaver alone is going to be enough, Valdez. I think that might be somewhat problematic.
I wasn't too happy with the Urgot pick, but honestly, if she gets that, I don't think any pick works.
No.
And I go back to what I said during the DK versus KT series. I overheard. Let's wait on that story perhaps a little bit as we have a 2-on-2 up in the top side. The AP LeBlanc is shelling out some good damage into Chovy as Lucid desperately trying to hold on to this control ward, and he will for now, aiming extremely scary on what we used to really love about Lucian in the current meta is that he will hit 2 items in this meta and just burst down anyone in the mid game.
Still does. The fact that Canyon is even in CS or even in experience is pretty interesting given what we saw, but that is very normal for the state of jungle right now as Keen might be getting caught here. Aiming on his way.
Not quite going to get another knock up there as the Rift Herald is going to be pushing into the top side. Cannon to lock that one down. Lahen's also here. And it's a 3-on-2 for now, but they're not going to crack the turret down just yet. Meanwhile, TP in the mid just trying to hold on to this one.
Yeah, it looks like Keen might be looking towards Hysteric second here. Terminaler just bought, almost has his call done. What is going to be the setup here? We do see DK looking aggressively for a pick, but this is the Genji comfort zone, just pushing. I think you just need to pull the trigger on the objective, just take the dragon, and DK looking a little bit too much there, and Genji not really giving them any leeway.
Yeah, not much coming through for now. Aiming still trying to crack this mid turret. Actually, is Redemption also committed to just to clear the wave and help them push forward. And this streak will go into the hands of DK. But yeah, the story I overheard was Helios and Goko on the Korean side, 2 of the analyst deskers over there saying, well, how do you deal with this Rek'Sai? What's the pick? And they were like, you ban it. That is the answer.
That's the way.
There is no one champion that deals with it in the lane. And it's also, as we know, very obnoxious once you get out of lane because you just don't die. And it has a lot of utility, unlike Udyr. So, feels pretty good. That is a champ nowadays.
Aiming just using the column there to ensure that they actually do get the dragon. There's no contest possible. Continuous mid-side prio, one of the big reasons why the Lucian has been so heavily prioritized even to this day. And as mentioned, we always see like a, because they've just been meta for what, like 3 years now? There's like a constant ebb and flow of us being like, oh, I don't know if it's good, into, okay, it's good again. It's fine. Although I'm not excited about it. And we will sulk. Yeah. Just a little bit.
This is meta champ that have been around
That's
forever.
a deep TP.
Yeah. Really
There's no turret.
Trying to punish them on this one, and I think it's going to work. I mean, the potential to chase with their composition is huge. You think about Rek'Sai, Lucian, Vi, LeBlanc, and now it's Pays all alone.
Tremor Sands,
He's
big
in
there.
a very awkward spot, but the rest of the team is not going to commit to it, so they just let them walk away.
I think you have to pull the trigger there. I think that's your opportunity.
30 seconds left. Spike
but they don't want to risk it. They don't want to throw the game. A big teamfight win there could lead into an immediate Baron. Instead, DK effectively invest the TP.
Oh, man.
And pick themselves up a turret and a whole lot of damage onto Pays.
Yeah, he's still trying to scale. He's not being given many opportunities. Meanwhile, down at the bottom side, Vi and LeBlanc put 2 and 2 together once again, and they take out Chovy in the side lane.
Mid-jungle 2v2. Coming up big here for DK. Lucid and Showmaker. These side lane picks so pivotal as it allows them to pick up a turret there. More waves being lost in mid. And Genji actually starting to feel substantially far behind in gold. As Chovy trying to just want to get away, man. There's one side, nope, not allowed, no vision control whatsoever. And against Lucid and Showmaker on these 2 champions, you just can't afford to do that.
They've just been so proactive about really owning the side lanes, essentially. There was the one time Chovy got the top turret, but other than that, it's been all DK all the time. Because the threat of Lucid has been really palpable. And Genji really have not been given any free time to farm up, to scale out the game, to buy themselves extra time.
It's the same as game 2, but the only thing is you replace the Ahri with the LeBlanc, but it plays out the same way. The Lucianami for the mid lane pressure, you spread that to the side lanes, and as soon as someone missteps, you take him down with the added bonus that now Kingen is all-seeing.
And unkillable, actually.
That helps.
You know, he looks pretty killable on the
Spike
Udyr,
down A.
but this time going to be a bit more difficult. Aiming, running forward. Keen, relatively tanky, does have the Sterix complete. Played the steel cap, so aiming, that's like the one target you can't necessarily just step up to and
30 seconds
burst
left.
out of the fight.
No, if you have IE, maybe with some help, if you have Lord Dumps, then obviously you're going to be feeling great.
One enemy remaining.
Right now, it's still, we're getting to the breaking point, but just like in game 2, you can feel Genji, they still have somewhat of a grasp on this game. But we're like 2 picks away from that no longer being the case. If the top side turrets start falling as well, if the mid lane inner falls, and Genji lose full control, I want to again reiterate that just like in game 2, their engage is pretty dreadful. It's just engage Maokai, who is in generally just not a great engage champion. Really good counter engage, but that doesn't really get you anywhere. So you're going to be relying on Chovy finding like multiple people, but who do you like? So Kalen, you can scoop. Lucid, if you're able to 100 to 0 him, is a pretty good target as well, but everyone else is a nightmare.
Yeah. Definitely is, and Genji haven't really even attempted it yet. Essentially, they've just taken the passive approach to this game and just said, well, we got behind DK's early game stronger than ever, and props to D+ for being good about getting those early leads, and most of the time, outside of the last game, I guess, with the Elder Drake kind of slip up there, have been good about getting those early leads and pushing them, as we are seeing here once again. Pays barely even able to stand in the mid lane.
He's done.
Oh god, Canyon. Notice I didn't mention Canyon before. He can easily step up to Canyon and take him out. Meanwhile, Showmaker nearly taking out Pays. And just like that, they don't get the kills, but they're out of the fight.
That's Flash gone. That's Barrier gone. I imagine DK want to pull the trigger on something, but this is where I think a lot of their past experiences have kind of hurt, and they don't want to risk anything. TP is going to come out here. Chovy does now have his Nashor's Tooth available.
One
And
enemy
DK,
remaining.
at the very least, should be able to pick up the Ocean Sword. Or the Ocean Soul Point.
Oh, he
I don't think
flashed
Genji should contest.
himself.
I think you should let this one go.
Well, they're going to try. Lucid going for the blue buff. He's immediately going to be taken away and chopped up by the Urgot. And that's going to be the end of that. That gives a chance now for Genji to extend this game, to take the Drake, and have a chance in the later stage of this one.
Absolutely colossal mistake from Lucid there. Gets caught. Not ready for the flash flip coming out from Keen. And that is going to be the soul point denied, and those early picks don't really get a whole lot done. After all, as a DTP comes in here, are they just going to pull the trigger on Baron, I wonder? But Showmaker just going to look for more pushing in the side lane. Is an absolute menace. But these are the type of moments that make me very worried for us getting to a game number 5, because with this, Genji extends the game. Pace can get to a second item, Chovy can get to, or a third item rather, same for Chovy. Genji's team fighting is exceptional.
You know what's pretty interesting is that Lucid, definitely a big mistake in that one, but it felt pretty obvious that DK were not exactly expecting them to run this fast to the Dragon.
Oh, you see there as well. Just sees them going, and you see it with the timing of the Rek'Sai as well. Like,
Enemy remaining.
if you want a TP, you should have already backed, because he bought the Spirit Visage off of that. So I think that was, as you say, big mistake from Lucid. If he flashes, he probably lives there. Just flashes over the wall, makes his way out, although maybe Chovy gets in. And a big mistake from him nonetheless, but yeah, good call, because it felt like they just weren't expecting the contest, which makes sense, because I don't know if Genji should have. But you got to be ready for that.
Yeah. I suppose that's where the engage is going to come in, at least when Keen has Flash.
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
not very reliable, but...
I feel like that one's more so on Lucid than it is the viability.
Yeah.
Engaged
It feels better than the Renata.
It does. Yeah, I mean, if Urgot
know?
flips you, you are dead, 100%.
Yeah.
It's immediately over.
It's
And you
not
can't
quite
fight.
the swap positions ultimate, but more modern version of it, perhaps. And again, the game is extended. It's no soul points. Some extra gold. Dragon given over to Genji. Feels like the Ocean Drake, even one is going to be valuable against the Lucian and the LeBlanc that continue to poke.
Keen going for 2 different item sets here. Trying to complete both at the same time. I imagine it'll be Jack Shows and Frozen Heart. Still getting going to be getting a ton of value of that, because that is one thing. If this Urgot keeps getting further ahead, I love this. Just got to pull the trigger. At least force the TP out of Keen.
Yep, just going to start it up. Doesn't look like Genji are really noticing just yet, but it's pretty slow with only 2. Now aiming gets over the wall.
Now they know, but they don't have a great way to keep Kenyon out. There is no... Wait, he can't flash.
Okay, it's just gone. Yep, DK gonna take it down. A great call from them, and Genji were not able to respond. And that is Baron buff given over to D+P.
DK lulling them into a false sense of security by not starting. And at that point, like, Genji can't walk in. They can't just face check the multiple brushes, especially on an Ocean Soul map. So it looks a little silly from them not doing anything, but I think from their point of view, it does make sense. As the Rebel Baron power play gonna have to be big here. Should be able to use that to set up soul points. Gonna be sold because of Lucid and his earlier mistake. And talked about the free item power spike. Chovy is about to hit level 16. Already has his arm guard. Hayes, I think he had a BF sword. So slowly going to be getting towards that as well. So this is a crucial moment for DK. Need to start again, knocking down these side lane towers and ideally some inhibitors.
Yeah. So on the gold diff, D+P is still very far ahead in pretty much every role except the top lane, which is fine because it's a Rek'Sai. Builds a couple of items, slowly gets tankier. That's essentially her role in this game. Whereas everybody else having extra money is going to feel very nice. Does mean that Keen is also extremely tanky and actually does a decent amount of damage, but also provides a front line. So gonna feel nice for him, but everywhere else, D+P is winning. Still just waiting on seeing how much value they are gonna get out of this push. And yeah, aiming is supremely fed at this point in time.
One enemy
Meanwhile,
the split push Rek'Sai, they're actually using it in free lanes. Feldas, they're learning right in front of our eyes.
A 1-3-1 out of D+Kia
with Baron,
with the Baron buff. Uh-oh. Oh, Pace, that's a little slowdown. That's the end of the Zeri in just the span of a half a second. Down goes Pace, and now they can group up in mid. They can take out this inhibitor. They can rotate bot, take out that one. I think I smell the silver scrapes coming on here now.
That's 2 inhibitors down. The Rebel Baron power play further extending. They might even try to push if someone makes a mistake, like, and try and look for even more here. At the very least, should try and play for triple inhib. Locks Genji in their base, makes it impossible for them to get anything done, but not taking any risks.
D+ are changed. They are a changed team.
You have to against Genji, because Genji, one mistake, and it's 3-1, and you're back in the lower bracket.
Yeah. I also do feel like aiming is just allowed to do whatever he wants in this game. You know, it's a bit of a comp issue. It's also just the wallets are so heavy, right? Like, DK are so far ahead that aiming can just dash forward, and he knows that there's nothing that Genji can do.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay, I'm just going to take your head off, and good luck.
Yeah. Hayes, not having a great game. Zeri this time around used to be one of his comfort picks. We're pretty happy. And here as well, like,
off the screen, aiming dashes in and Pace is like, I'm dead.
Yeah, Lahens did have his, I think he did have ult and heal, but he probably wouldn't be in range unless he flashes, and at that point, like, if you flash ult heal, that's, I don't think that's necessarily worth it. At the same time, though, if Pace stays alive, maybe you keep an inhib, but that is not going to be a good decision either way, and if Pace doesn't miss position, it wouldn't be a problem in the first place.
I feel like Genji as a team have just made the decision to not commit to anything until the very late stage of the game.
Until they literally have to.
Yeah. They're just turtling up. They're saying, okay, well, we'll try to scale. We'll try to get the Zeri online. That hasn't worked. Try to get the Azir online. Sort of.
Wow.
DK be up this much against Genji in a playoff series and it don't work out. So I understand. I really, Showmaker's like, let me tell you guys about
some war stories.
Kellen was there in 2022 already as well, right? That's what
Spike
because they were
down
Dokkan Kellen in 2021. I'm not sure. And they made it.
Yeah.
So Showmaker and Kellen, like, listen up, kids. It was Renekton in Italy, sure. We were in a position that was unlosable. We found a way anyway. It's not happening.
Variable removed.
They certainly found a way, and I don't know. It just feels like
Last
again
player
they
standing.
are playing this one much more respectfully. No big overextensions. In fact, it's Gen G that are not allowed to stand anywhere unless they get a culling to the face. This time it's Lahens who he has to flash away this time.
Man, the amount of press art gameplay coming out from DK, absolutely riveting. See enemy? The only one that like really has to try to do anything is Showmaker.
He does have some aimable abilities, yes. As tidal wave over the top, it's a bubble, and DK are like, nope, 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 we are running away. Toby has other ideas, though, as there it is! They're gonna take out the Nami, but that's just the Nami. Can they kill Rek'Sai?
Guys!
Have they overextended? Kingen is dead. And 2 pickoffs for the side of Gen G, with Baron up in 40 seconds.
Guys!
Blinded.
Okay, it's fine. There's 2 inhibs down for another minute and a half. I don't think they can actually play for Baron here. King and STP as well. Pick would be absolutely huge. Lucid has flash and ult. Aiming's there as well.
Oh, they know where he is.
They're gonna try and go for this, 100%.
Yep,
Got it.
things are coming in, and oh god, Toby trying to get so far away, but with 3 members, they take out Toby. And the pick is successful right before the Baron.
Not even Chovy immune to the amount. That guy is not getting. It's not going to see any playing.
Nope.
There is absolutely zero way, Valdez. Because yes, the 3 item spikes are starting to be hit across the board. Yes, Gen G is still holding on, but you lose the Baron.
One
They
enemy
are certainly going to lose the Ocean Soul as well. And
Spike down
again,
B.
this is the power of inhibitors. This is why we harp on them so much. It just makes it so hard to do anything. As we take another look here, it's just a very split call from DK,
30
and then
seconds
Kellen
left.
ends up getting caught anyway. Really nicely done there by Chovy to identify. Great use of the scryers, and then the fear from
Last round
turning
is the half.
Nami into fish food is used to take down Kingen. But I don't think it's gonna matter, Valdez. I think Silver Scrapes is coming up.
There's only 1 lane left, and DK aren't wasting too much time with this one. As they push on forward, the poke is coming out. That's 3 inhibitors down now. But the other 2 are coming up here in about 10 seconds. We do see D plus Kia trying to rotate over and take those down. They want to get the full, safe 3-lane victory. Maybe pick up an Ocean Soul if they feel like it. But don't even necessarily have to do that. See what they decide on as actually
Outshot.
backing away for now, but it does look like they do want to make a play here for this inhibitor.
Oh yeah, just slow play. You have Baron, so just as long as you get the inhibs and you don't take a risk, minions are gonna do the work for you.
Little sun turret,
Spike planted.
Emphasis on little.
very extremely tiny.
Oh,
It's not.
I'm just gonna peel off and like, guys, let's just get Ocean instead. I could see him do it.
I mean, I feel
don't
like
think
they
they
should get value out of their Baron, though.
No,
They're
they
playing
should be
this
pushing. I agree.
extremely carefully.
As they should. 1 auto at a time.
That time they got 2. That time they did 0 damage to Keen. And yeah, the burst comes out from aiming.
That's 1.
That'll be enough to take out mid. And now down to the bottom side, aiming is the main character at this point in time in terms of damage dealing for DK.
1 enemy
Redemption,
remaining. Last
very
player
desperate.
standing.
Argenti trying to stay alive in their base.
Oh, DK. They want to get to a game 5 so badly. They don't want to walk. All flashes
Switching
are up
sides.
outside of Lahens, and I don't think his is the one you're afraid of.
Ah, there it is, aiming, ready to press his buttons, takes him out. Excellently timed and aimed. Culling, and that'll be the end of Canyon and the end of the 3 inhibitors. They slowly but surely push in to these Nexus turrets and are looking to bring us to Silver Scrapes.
3 inhibitors down.
Very slowly,
Very slow.
extremely surely.
We are not taking any risks, Valdez. We're playing it safe.
Yeah, and no reason to, as the flash away from Keen and the engage comes in. There's the Zeri with the ult. Both Nexus turrets are down. They take out the Vi, and they will hold on to their Nexus for now. Down will go Rek'Sai as Keen also going to survive once again.
Okay, guys. We either commit or we don't.
Okay, TB.
Like, you have full health bars on these 3 members.
TB,
If King
Spot him.
and Lucid go in, you have to commit.
Toby is committing. He is not going to be let down. Takes away the Nami, but only the Nami.
Okay, there's no way. Oh, Showmaker should be able to make it out.
He doesn't have dispersion, and he's spotted. Over the wall he goes. Mimic is up in like 2 seconds. Okay, he's gonna hop back and just choose to take down the hens. Okay.
The heal from Crypt Bloom.
One
He's still gonna
enemy
die.
remaining.
Kane's gonna find him.
Oh, not the plants. Oh God. And okay, they finally get it done.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
It shouldn't matter, Valdez.
surely the game is just over, right?
3 inhibitors are down. 3 inhibitors are down. It shouldn't matter. This should aiming. Just stay alive. Wait for the rest of your team. You have triple in it. Do not try to take this. It's just a dragon. It's just a dragon. There you go. Leave it be.
Just let it go. It's okay.
Oh my, DK, you are making this way more stressful than it has any right to be. Because if they actually commit, I think, like, there's 2 options. Either you
They're so
fully peel off,
stressed.
fully peel off.
Yeah.
But like, look at, like, if you're like, hey guys, my mana is low, I don't want to risk it, then everyone needs to back off. But if King is going in, everyone goes in. There's no middle ground here.
Well. Nice flash here from Keen, you know. He is the turret at the end of the day. Wild growth on him. Very unkillable. Takes out Vi, and that's where the turn comes in. Nobody else commits, as you mentioned. Like, if aiming is hitting, if Showmaker is hitting, maybe they just win.
Spike down.
No, I think
mid.
they do. But again, it needs to be one or the other. And then here, absolutely pivotal that Showmaker stays alive for as long as he does, and that aiming is able to flash away out of that. Because otherwise, I think that Urgot can just pretend to be a turret. He's very good at that, and then the rest of the team just pushes with the mid wave.
We're fighting. We're gonna try to fight into aiming. Lucid and Showmaker
enemy
and
remaining.
Shingen are just sending it into the Nexus. Isn't enough? I'm not so sure. The autos are coming in. The sweep away, and Showmaker's so low, and the last couple of autos will get it done. V plus Kia, in very tense fashion, will bring us to Silver Scrapes.
Oh, Lucid and an aiming high five at the end there. And we are going to a game number 5. It's rickety, but it's happening, Valdez.
The foundation is not there, but we are in the sky. And
DK versus Genji.
it's always a banger. You were correct. All of us 3031 Predators were so silly. We should have known. And D plus Kia bringing us to this moment, to another game 5 between these 2 teams.
And when it comes to gameplay, I think for like 70% of this series, Genji has been better. But DK, they have 0 expectations. They were not picked by Genji. And if I might remind you, 2 of the members on Genji do have some bad memories about picking
One
a team
enemy remaining.
that you know, you should probably beat, but you had some
down mid.
difficulties with in the regular season. As to me, I think Lucid outside of was my front runner because of the early game, but that play at Dragon, it's a little bit too much, and aiming is pressure in
Oh yeah.
the late game.
No, this is
It was a blowout. We'll see, but gotta give him credit where credit is due, and we're going to 5.
another one. We got another one here in these playoffs. We'll have Silver Scrapes, guys, but first we're gonna take a break and have the space to break down that game number 4. We will be back.
Oh yeah, rank up, baby.
야 내가 그냥 위에 딱 붙어서 얘네가 나 어그로 끌리면 우리가 그냥 끝내나 빡치면 돼. 야 이거 애들 위치 찾아. 안 보이는 애들 체크해. 확인. 야 아지르 노텔이야. 마우 안 보여. 마우 찾아야 돼. 마우. 야 끝내나 빡치면 돼. 나 클리즈. 르블랑 돼? 돼. 와봐. 야 마우 볼게 마우. 끝내. 와봐. 아지르 공 찍자. 마우. 버퍼 2초. 봐봐. 타워. 야 마우 잡았어. 얘들아 천천히. 야 천천히 잡아. 천천히 해야 돼. 타워. 간다. 나이스.
2-2. Genji and Damwon Kia. Banana, 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 blah blah, banana, blah blah blah, blah blah, blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah, blah blah. Wham, wham.
Match found.
초비가 한판 오퍼치기를
이게 얼마짜리 토스인가요?
대왕 젠지 완전 호락인데요.
쇼메이커 플레이메이킹 메이커 루시드 쇼메이커 아니 디플러스기야 이런 초력.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the space, as once again, D plus Kia bring us to the wonderful tones of Silver Scrapes. It is a timeless song for a timeless moment in League of Legends, and we're here once again. Gentlemen, we had a draft on our hands in this game as well, and once again, Blue Side was victorious. Did feel like D plus have been ramping up, though, in this series.
They really have, and I think that the more the series goes on, the more it looks like Gen.G just look woefully unprepared. They're disrespecting D+, and D+ look like they want this series more, to be honest. Like, they're stepping up in a big way. We're seeing big overextensions, big mistakes, and often lazy rotations out of the side of Gen.G, and they're just getting punished. And, you know, when you ramp up into a 5th game like this, the underdog team often has that extra advantage because they came in going, this is do or die for us, and Gen.G probably came over like most people and thought this is going to be a super one-sided series. And the drafting, I mean, I don't hate this draft. Keen loves to play Urgot into melee champs. It's pretty good into Rek'Sai, but it didn't have that much power in the late game because it's not really a pick comp. They couldn't get side lane control. And Gen.G, once again, from behind, looking a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, it's the main thing. It's like, as we know, like it's just a Lucian Nami against Zeri Lulu. Like when there's a decent draft that actually happens, it's like everything's about the bottom. And yeah, as you kind of mentioned, it's like they first pick the Vi, DK first to Vi, and Gen.G just straight up just first pick also in Zeri as well. So like that means like Lucian Nami, as soon as they get like a little bit ahead, Vi just press the R, just go bottom, just pull the trigger, and it's just like the win conditions it gets so easy for them.
Yeah, and also we have seen that Zeri Lulu into Lucian Nami has been pretty Zeri Lulu favored in a lot of instances in the earlier stages of the game. Wasn't necessarily so in this one, but let's dive into our first highlight here. We've stuck to the early game. There were some shenanigans that happened. We prefer to ignore those, and we'll stick to this, which really got D+ ahead.
I mean, there were just so many skirmishes where Gen.G were out-rotated, especially by Showmakers LeBlanc. Canyon having a bit of a rough game. Losing Flash oftentimes, and then trying to come out and put his lanes back together, and then losing out on this move here. Great call from Aiming, super aggressive, shot calling it for moments before.
One enemy
and then just collapsing onto Keen, and it's like, where's Canyon in these moments? They're losing on both sides of the map.
I mean, it's just like all the death are so not organized for Gen.G. It's just like they wanted to do the Herald, they kind of backed off, and it's just like face check the brush, and Zeri just dead. It's just like the old death are not really calculated, and was not really, nothing wasn't prepared anything.
Yeah, and for those that are a bit confused as to why Urgot is picked, this is one of Keen's pocket picks that he's had for the entirety of his time in the LCK since, like, you know, a million years ago. This guy always just has a pocket Urgot to bring out, and when he feels like the lane is right, that's when he does it. Oftentimes, it does feel like a desperation move, though, and that, once again, did happen here. But the bottom lane was also a bit of a problem. Let's dive down there and see, does Zeri just not really get going?
I mean, this is like they kind of wanted to trade because the jungler was close, and it caused like so much. Like look at how many creeps are actually attacking the Zeri, and being as a, it just caused the game. Like after right here, it's just like it's unlaneable.
And the Aiming is super patient. He doesn't try to trade flashes or anything like that. He doesn't go forward and try to go into the barrier. He's like, no, we won the lane. Actually, that's all I need. And in moments like this, I mean, Aiming just outplayed FaZe so hard in this series in every respect. And when he got big, obviously there was not much FaZe could do. Won't blame FaZe for getting chunked out by getting two-shot by Illusion in the late game. But this seems to be a big issue as FaZe and Lehends look like they're kind of returning to our like week 1 to week 3 form, but they seem very shaky together going into the beginning of this season. Looking like that a little bit here when it matters most in these best of 5s. You're going to have to give that #1 All-Pro 80 carry performance.
Well, we'll just see what happens. It's time now to give over a POG. Who's going to pick it up this time around, though? And it is going to be Aiming 401 on that Lucian. Over 1,000 DPM as well is pretty impressive, and I'm glad that we went with that as our final highlight. Makes us look pretty smart, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100%. It was like, as I said, like, it's the reason why also just, I also give it to the Aiming. It's just from the draft. It's just like Lucian Nami against Zeri Lulu. Whoever just fat, whoever's just more fat, it's just gotta be just has a strong team, and it's gonna be about like the fighting there.
It's crazy too. Like he has 4 kills, 1 assist. He did so much on his own this game, and it's actually it seems like low kills if you watch the entire game start to finish. He was just so dominant, so clean.
Yeah, media not so much. They got a little bit confused in this game, but that's fine. Just a vote going over to Listen, one going over to Showmaker as well. Showmaker's LeBlanc is one of those things that can be pretty impressive. But now, Gen G move over to the blue side. Blue side has been pretty successful so far.
I just want to see Gen G play a lot more disciplined. I want to see them like Canyon is underperforming. Lucid is doing a great job. Bottom lane seems to be a big hole. I want to see Gen G play something that's very standard, very meta. Don't reinvent the meta. You don't have to play Urgot here. Just play safe.
Player standing.
I mean,
ban that Vi, ban the Vi.
Yeah, for DK, just keep what they're doing. Just play aggressive and just go for it.
Well, now it is time for us to head to Lurk, so it is time for our customary phones in the air as we celebrate another Game 5. See,
30 seconds left.
Thank you, Spacers, for that awesome breakdown. As yes, light up your phones, even if you're at home sitting alone in the dark. Do it.
Why would they be sitting alone in the dark?
Maybe you.
For
Sometimes
atmosphere?
do it. You know, yeah. You gotta feel like you're here
10
at the
seconds left.
LCK arena.
Hell
Carrying
yeah.
Silver Scrapes for what is a somewhat expected but also unexpected game at number 5. Our analysts did a great job of breaking down all the analytical points of that game and the way the series has been going. But the vibes, man. DK versus Gen G. They always go to game 5. It always happens, one way or another.
The most insane thing to me coming into the day, and it's something that I think the space highlighted already, but it's not just that DK is bringing us to a game 5. That, as again, the challenger team, they only needed 4 games to win yesterday, so they're like, come on, main team, get it together. Give us the win. As aiming, very deserved POG. As mentioned, the Lucid vote, I do understand. The Showmaker vote, I'm a little bit more confused by, but we'll ask Oaks later. But
They just didn't want to be boom boom damage voters anymore.
what is pivotal to me is that when you look at the individual performances, it really feels like in almost every game, DK is actually getting the better. I feel like Chovy's a little bit more negotiable because of how good his Corky game was.
Oh boy.
As I love this draft music, fellas. It is so epic.
Here we go. Another game 5. And so far, the 2 playoff series that I have cast have both been game 5s. We'll see if we can keep that streak going in the future as well.
You're him.
I might just be Silver Valdez.
Silver Felt.
As we get older, we start to gray. Yeah, I do agree. I think fighting still. Or you need to have an answer.
Can be
like,
won it. That's fine. Canyon can play Vi. There's no problem there. Because we do know for a fact that Chovy and Canyon play an insane Vi art. This is not something new to Gen G. And you need to respect Lucid and Showmaker. The fact that they are, at worst, just as good as Chovy and Canyon in this series is insane to me because I feel like they were so far ahead of the pack, Chovy and Canyon that is, for the entirety of the split. But in this series, it's just not true. You can't give them a winning mid-jungle 2v2. You gotta... I know they won the Corky game, but that still, to me, felt like a free rollers. There we go. There is the ban. The Rel opened this time, but Gen G can pick that up themselves.
Look at Lucy, he's like, I guess I'm playing Rel, but I know what I'm playing, but like as you mentioned, they could just take it away. Gen G. What is their first pick going to look like, though? With the Rel available, with what could be another strong pick available if DK leave it available. But the Callista is going to be taken off the board.
Varus is open. Pays piloted that. He was there. That game was not even remotely about him. Didn't really.
He got Showmaker the one time.
Yeah, true. They didn't really show anything particular. As again, and this is something Coach Kim said coming into the day. Lucid and Showmaker, they are the ones that we need to keep down. And I think Aiming has, again, after those 2 Lucian performances, made a very strong case for himself. Would love if they just go for the Lucianami here again.
Sure. I think that's totally fine. You know, a little bit low range against a scary engaged jungle. But as you mentioned, they just have been so strong on it. And, you know, we spent a lot of round 2 kind of hating on it, but You know what? Instead, they're just gonna go for Zeri instead.
Oh, not the Maokai.
Well, it's a strong pick in the meta, Chronicler, and maybe Lucid just had an off day. He hasn't been perfect.
He's had a lot of off days on the Maokai. I think the pick in this series also just hasn't looked that good. This is consistent though with what DK have been prioritizing. Can also go for a Lurk pickup. I do think the Sejuani is a lot. I'd have a lot more confidence in that working out than the Maokai. That has just been kind of an unmitigated disaster. Ushinami now, the obvious, but no, the pivot. We saw this pulled out in Challengers yesterday as well. The Lulu takeaway, and Aphelios Lulu, thanks to the crit buffs on this patch, a much stronger combination. And there's no vibe, crucially. Yes, there's Sejuani, but that alone not enough to knock down an Aphelios of his possibility to fight back in those extended fights. And if you're playing it to Lulu anyway, might as well commit to it, Kellen.
Yeah. Zeri Yumi is the choice here. And they've already looked good on this duo. And I don't mind them going back to this, as you mentioned, especially with their opponents. The Sejuani is an interesting one. I do wonder what the solo lanes are going to look like for the side of D plus Kia. You consider, like, Jax is still available. They could consider that. Even melee mid laner for Showmaker. Does he pull out another R5 Silas or something like that? Not quite the same angle as when he played against KT to a big victory, but let's see what else Gen G pick as well. Kassadin also melee.
Typical. Not gonna let Showmaker have his hands on that.
10 seconds left.
As you point out, the mid jungle to me is going to be the main thing here. Kingen has been exceptional. Maybe this is just where you just are for Aatrox. It hasn't really been prioritized in this series, but I think you can trust Kingen on the pick. It's one of the picks where we go, yeah, you know what, Kingen, if he gets it, perfectly fine. And that TF ban, I think, is another indicator there, as it synergizes very well with the Sejuani. It's great with Yumi as well for some extra sustain, and we all know how I feel about Lafella the Aatrox. The things it does.
The drain tank that he is.
The drain tank, almost as tanky as people that build full tank, yes.
Yeah.
But also, gets the one shot on Aphelios if he does get a big flank of the Renekton taken away. And to me, it could be a Cassandre as well, right? And you put everything on a high DPS output pick for the mid laner here, for Showmaker. We'll see what ends up coming through.
Could also just go for a Zir.
True.
Just pick it and say, okay, we'll save the counter pick for top.
Wow.
Zir back in the meta means that this will happen more and more often. He is pretty much untouchable when it does come to trying to counter him in lane. So you just end up with handshakes like the Talia.
Revealing area.
And in game 5, it might not be about that mid-jungle. It might instead be just about the 5v5 team fight already. I think this is both teams recognizing a lot of these games have gone the distance. At least one of them was decided by one decisive fight. Gen G gonna go back to that style as well, but a counter pick for Kingen. It really is testament to how much he's grown over the last couple of weeks. Really, heads off to...
What if he just picks Udyr?
Okay, well that would make me very sad. Don't do that.
I mean, he might, but Nar's available. I mean, you've got the Aatrox available.
Into Talia, there is obviously a little bit more risk involved with some of these backline champions. But I think that makes perfect sense here.
It's Kingen.
Yep.
You gotta send it on the Aatrox. R5, game 5, and that they will. Aatrox locked in, as the DK fans loving that one.
There is a lot of comfort here for either side. And when it comes to macro, I think Gen G still look miles ahead of DK. Let's be honest, some of the decision-making of DK around objectives, even how they ended the final game that we just came out of, has been a bit shaky. But when it comes to the individual performances, DK really has blown me away here today. And if I could make, you know, a peak DK draft, you know, ideally you want Lucid on Rel instead. But outside of that, this is pure comfort for the entirety of this roster. And then, on the flip side, honestly, same for Gen G.
when you get to game 5 and it's getting a little shaky, you know, even for the side of DK, yes, they won, but it wasn't the cleanest game 4 we've ever seen. So just go for comfort. Just go for what works. Ban away the scary things like the point and click, like the Vi, and go with what has gotten you wins most of the time in the past. And this is a huge game. This is a massive game because if you win this one, you guarantee yourself at least lower finals.
The fact that we're in this position in the first place, it's somewhat surprising, but these teams have gone the distance. But it feels like after that last win, DK might have the momentum to dethrone Gen G here in game number 5, Valdez.
It could just happen. These two squads, these two organizations that have so many wins behind them. Let's see who gets the win here in game number 5 on the Rift.
Last player standing. Team Ace.
Yeah, they're pretty pumped for game number 5. Also, when all of the players individually were walking out onto the stage, as Lucid will be fine, they were getting huge cheers from the fans as well. Because obviously with the big headsets on and the white noise, etc., you're not supposed to hear too much of the fans, but obviously when they're walking out, they can hear everything. So, huge fan support.
So, we get a zoom in on Kingen. That's his skin. He earned that himself for being Finals MVP. We do have Exhaust available as well for the place. As both teams, I think that Gen G have an inkling that Kingen Water based on being pretty far up. We'll see though, he might be looking for some harass on Canyon here, but we'll see if they actually end up going. Showmaker's also going for Jackson here, which I really like. I think this composition will have plenty of damage. Don't think you're going to be too worried. And he has, in my opinion, also looked the best on it. He loves these type of off-meta style champions. And again, coming into today, if you told me that Kingen was going to outperform Keen, I don't know if I would have believed you, but that is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think Kingen has really just leveled up, and sometimes, you know, you play that extra series, you build confidence, you get a win in a big game 5, right? That makes you just a stronger player, whereas Keen has to come in and perform right from the get-go. FaZe is 24-4 on Aphelios. Again, a lot of teams he has been on have won, and by teams, I mean team. And he continues to win. We'll see if he can pick up another win to bolster that Aphelios win rate.
It's really interesting to me that the Jinx didn't make an appearance at all today. Wonder if we're going to see teams go back to that as well. Has been a menace in Korean solo queue. And the crit buffs have also been quite kind to her, so maybe this is just extra steps that we're taking to go back to Aphelios and Jinx, as Helen takes a lot of damage here, but is of course Yumi, so not going to feel too threatened. But the early trades, we do know Aphelios with his range can be quite oppressive, and Lulu, even though we didn't see it last game, can be quite the lane bully as well.
Yeah. Doing a great job of that. Helen struggling to get in range, but he's just fine on the Yumi. And this is very obnoxious to lock down. I feel like the whole composition from DK is just really obnoxious. Specifically the damage dealers like Aatrox, so difficult to kill, very hard to lock down. You have to use a lot of resources to make sure he's not healing up and tanking in the fights. But then you've got Zerayumi as well. And then on top of that, you have Tank Azir, who's not going to die easily, and is still going to be doing a nice amount of damage. So these fights are going to have to be really clean from the side of Gen G, because if they get away from them, then it's going to be struggle street, I would say. You know, the Zeri in a long fight, the Aatrox in a long fight, and then of course Tank Azir.
On the flip side, I think Gen G, their kite back is insane, right? Between the Taliyah, between the K'Sante, the amount of space that they can generate for FaZe, who I think has really been underperforming in this series. A lot is going to ride on him. Like, yes, Taliyah is quite strong, but it really doesn't do the amount of damage that I think you're looking for from someone like Choke, the way that the Corki can, right? You're much more reliant on hitting great shoves, good positioning in team fights, and possibly impacting the map, because we do have an incredible amount of vision here towards the top half of the map. Lucid is going to get spotted out. They do, I think, might have suspicion. Keen did obviously walk in to try and place that ward, if I'm not mistaken. Especially before Showmaker has actually used his TP and made his way back. Isn't taking the best of trades here, but he's still has a TP available. So any healthy trades with Chovy, he's going to be feeling pretty stoked about.
Revealing area.
Talia in the mid lane, very annoying to deal with. Essentially,
Spike
it's a
down.
very fun
A.
time poking you out, and even just stealing some jungle camps, I guess. Doesn't happen all the time, but using all the vision they have to get even more aggressive with Showmaker on the back, and now Canyon gonna start up on the spawn of the Void Grubs and get that one going for himself.
This is also the last patch that we get to see Jungle Rel on. So, if you're a Jungle Rel fan, cherish it while Lost is aiming.
Yeah, he's going forward, trying to get the grab at him, but now he's stuck on awkward guns, and it's not going to take a great trade. Is aiming a very nice angle. He's been so stellar this whole series.
Oh, Lucid maybe waiting for Lahans to go and ward. The tension, Valdez. A kill very early would be huge, but you don't want to risk it. Don't want to waste too much time. Camps are up for Lucid, so
Spike down.
way back to the jump.
10 seconds left.
That's fine.
enemy
Aiming
remaining.
and Kellen by themselves are already getting a nice little win, so at least in the laning stage, so you don't have to over-force your hand by any means. Especially when you don't know exactly where Canyon is.
Switching sides.
They might have a certain idea now. Lucid making his way back, but not going to show up to the bottom lane just yet. Cody gets a nice back here note. He doesn't have his teleport, but he's using the tier 2 boots and Talia passive to get back to lane and not really miss much. So it looks like he was able to control that lane very nicely.
It might have been a bit of a mistake from Showmaker there, staying in that lane for a really long time, meaning that when he did actually eventually get to back, Chovy was able to still dictate the pace of the game. The amount of tracking that's been going on Lucid, really want to shout out. It's been like 4 or 5 wards in his topside jungle already, so not want to get caught off guard, not want to be surprised by a gank of the Sejuani. Genji just trying to maintain an even lane state as
Red White really trying to pressure this one as the flash comes in. Immediate cleanse and flash out of aiming, but now we've got Chovy and he's up against the wall. Aiming will go down, and Kellen as well. Ooh, he's going to land it. Pace goes down to him. Definitely not what you were hoping for, but at least they got the kill onto aiming.
Still a big win there for Gen G, but Pace's struggles today continue as they will be able to kill. That's the main thing. Kill goes over to Chovy. He's going to be very happy with that. They deny a lot of CS to the Zeri, but because Pace dies as well, that does take away, I think, a lot of the value that otherwise you could be looking towards. I don't want to see that dive back to see what actually transpired there for him to have aggro by himself. As we
One enemy
keep the
remaining.
goal relatively even due to the fact that the trade didn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things. Lucid now starting this up on Vision. And I don't actually know if they can get away with this. There are no ults available here for Chovy.
Chovy's just not really doing damage right now, as now he has to flash over the wall. And Showmaker's like, okay, cool. I mean, take a look at the items here from Chovy. He's got tier 2 cooldown boots, essentially, and that's it. So
it's boots of lucidity. That's not enough by itself.
yeah.
10 seconds
Like
left.
trying to take trades with Showmaker, and Showmaker's like, well, yeah, you got a full combo on me, and so what? Now we pick up the loss counter.
Didn't really matter, as you point out. Flash for flash being traded there. So taking a look at this, really well done here. Chovy actually making his impact on the map now. Makes you wonder why we didn't see the Talia earlier. As we take another look at this, so it is Chovy initially taking aggro, and then yeah, Pace ends up taking it. Doesn't actually end up getting the final order there onto Kellen.
It was aggressive, but I don't even fully blame him for that. It's like a Yumi who's super low.
Yeah.
You've got red, white, you have so many chakrams, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna kill this guy. As Cannon's gonna smite this one away. Like, it wasn't a clean play by any means, but you can understand why he would make that mistake. But as you mentioned, does compound perhaps on some of his confidence issues from today.
Yeah, it just hasn't looked that good. And the laning mistakes, I think we saw a lot of during the regular season as well, but it's mostly been plays like this that I think are kind of outside the normal scope for this player. Pressure maybe getting to him. As we do have the grubs finally being taken. That was still the first rotation. Canyon just only picked up the first one very early on as Knight's Vow now done for both junglers here. Obviously, you'd rather be on the Rel end of the situation. Only downside to Rel is that as strong as her engages is a lot more committal, so if you don't have great coordination with your team, then you can run into some trouble. Lucid is still going to have a lot of the pressure of engaging on him because his ultimate really is the only great way left to start fights. Although, Tank is here. Is it not just another form of initiation? I think you can argue that it is.
Yeah, because you can put your body on the line a little bit more aggressively. So rather than trying to play defensive and the poke style, you're doing a little bit less damage, but you can commit to
Don't
plays
give them time to
with
reposition.
a bit more ease of mind, peace of mind. As after that play and subsequent Drake going down, teams have just kind of waited at this point in time.
It's a game 5, and it's not a game 5 like the one where we got the R5 Silas and they completely took over the game from that point on. I think most game 5s kind of start this way with both teams just being like, we don't want to fall behind early. We're going to play it safe.
No mistakes.
No mistakes. We're going to look for big angles. Trust our team fighting.
Ooh, nice angle here from Keen. Speaking of which, he's going to bring him over the wall now. Kingen going to press his ult and use the walk or fly away. As now Lahen's in a bit of trouble, has to flash over the wall. Meanwhile, in mid, Maker is just fine.
And as we talk about pace, we also have to talk about Lahen's. Is Lulu not really having the luster that I think we have seen of him in the past? As very nicely done there by Chovy. He says, hello Lucid, how about you take a larger journey?
Fires out.
Cage trigger. For the backhand. Aiming is getting really comfortable in this area. I don't think that bodes well.
Last player standing.
For Genji, rather. In current form, I would say it doesn't bode well for Genji, particularly with how Aiming has been playing this series. And the level up that he had last split comes to mind when I think that Keen, Lahen's, even BDD didn't really have the summer playoffs that they were looking for. Aiming was maybe contrary to what he often is described as, actually super dependable. We'll see if he's able to replicate it. So much power and so much responsibility rests on his shoulders with this draft.
I mean, you think about the other game where he played Zeri, it was game 3 where they kind of lost it against Package. And that wasn't Aiming's fault. Here we go. Ult's going to be utilized here as immediately Pays and Lens just turn tail, but now TP coming in. A lot of damage already done to Pays and Lens. He's just going to cleanse here. Away from the root as now Chovy goes over the wall, and now Aiming is in a lot of trouble, gets knocked into the rocks, and now Kellen left for the fishes as well. Double kill over to Chovy, who's making his presence felt in the bottom lane yet again.
Chovy being the difference maker in this one. I haven't finished my sentence or the Costa Curve strikes. Aiming and Kennen look for the 2v2 all in.
That's the way it goes.
And get punished immediately. The end of the duel by itself, but a really big win there for Genji. Chovy getting more and more fed. So
Power of the Talia.
2v2 is great. Yeah, as you point out, there's not a lot of mages that can actually end up following the path that Aiming takes. Great bait as well. They're from, I think, the bot side of Genji. Still have the flash, still have the wild growth, not losing their nerves. And then here, realistically, you're never getting away. And then also really nicely done. You get the wild growth into knockback combo, guaranteed CC, so no way to outplay that. You can't walk your way out of that one.
Yeah, like Showmaker has done many a time, and now Showmaker's getting in there. Again, he's pretty tanky. The Lucid ult comes through, and Chovy gets shut down. The kill will go over to Lucid. As now Canyon running away from this Zeri. Tons of damage coming out from this D+ comp.
Chovy holding his flash there because he wants Showmaker to flash, and as long as Showmaker isn't flashing, he's not flashing. Disregards the fact that there's a Sejuani there, and does end up giving his shutdown over to set Sejuani, which is not ideal for DK. This isn't like a Vi where you're like, you know what, there's value. he's not going to be that type of champion.
Trying to fight over this one.
He's going to be gone.
They don't have Chovy, so Infernal Soul for game 5. Coming on out. Red, white, and so Aiming and the crew is just going to back away from this one.
Okay. That's as good as you can get for a game 5.
Spike planted.
That's going to be absolutely huge.
I mean,
last player standing.
They don't really need to do that, but sure, okay.
They're fry on Chovy. He's He's level 11 and his ult is almost a cooldown, so I feel like if you do get into an extended fight, they're like, we take those.
Yeah.
We win. It should be okay.
Match
The level 11 wall is a big difference from
yeah.
the level 6 wall.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a difference of like 1,000 range or something, but
Oh, it's nuts.
it'll go from, okay, I can hit like the nearby jungle camps to, yeah, I'm in the bottom lane. So,
Yeah, it's the same as Nocturne, right? That jump up just feels amazing. As we take another look here, crucially, Chovy already uses his E, so Showmaker can just shuffle in, and there, he's just waiting. Like he is waiting for Showmaker to commit the flash again, like he did the last time. Not ready for Lucid in the kerfuffle of it all. Gets hit by the Glacial Prison.
all calculated. He gave the kill over to Lucid, as we mentioned.
sure.
Not actually, but certainly going to feel pretty good about that, at least.
Which is
Because-
why Lucid now is the only one to gold lead on the side.
I mean, eventually you are going to have to give that bounty to someone. So.
It actually
Unless
is.
you just never die.
I mean, it's actually the best to go to
Spike
outside of
planted.
Kellen. Kellen is the only one where you're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
actually free.
Although, like, early mechanics.
Yeah, maybe Lucid is actually the worst. Hey, you can buy Frozen Heart. It's a great item.
Snowman.
I wish you could buy 2 Knight's Vows.
So you can be a knight to people.
Yeah.
You can't have
Player
2
standing.
lords. You got 1 lord.
You give the buff to 2 of the players.
No, but you're
You survive.
someone's
2 people healing
knight.
you.
You can't be 2 people's knight. You have
Also,
to swear
don't stack in League of
swear
Legends.
fealty to
win.
one person, Valdez.
Outside of this lore story you're telling. So Gen Z, they're going to make a play here for the Rift Herald, and it doesn't look like D plus Kia have any interest in fighting over that. So that's just an objective given over to Gen G.
Chovy does have TP. Keen almost has his, so I don't think they're going to actually give up the bot side turret for this. So should be a favorable trade for Gen G. And there we see TP to come through. King immediately backs off. Doesn't want to risk it. We do see Chovy kind of looking, but he's already underneath his turret. You can try to go for this, but it is a bit risky unless he face checks, which he doesn't. Lucid.
Lucid just going for,
It's fine.
he's just gallivanting out there on his Poro. Here we go. Gonna get that engaged, but immediately Canyon is going to get cleansed, and now with the Wild Growth should be okay. As here comes Chovy over the top, Lucid in a bit of trouble. The knockup comes in, and the stun as well, but now Showmaker jumping into the back line. Might be able to take a pace, not quite able to, but here's Kingen looking for the back line, and the fight extends. This is where D plus Kia, they will thrive, as meanwhile, Showmaker just being bullied by Keen. And the kite back comes through from the side of Gen G. Nobody else will die.
Somehow it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Paze's struggles continue. I think you'll take that if you're DK. I think that's slightly favorable. You did use Kingen's flash, but there were
Keep a lot of summoners
4
here.
flashes used by Gen G. The only tragedy is that there's still no kill on aiming. I was really looking for that. But a kill on Kingen is still big. His Aatrox, we know, is a powerful threat. I think Lucid was trying to angle for an ult on Paze, but Kane is just a little bit too far forward. Initially, this looks fine, but this is where the power of that Talia does come through. But Lucid is so much tankier. It's the redemption, actually, that keeps him alive for a really long time, plus the Yumi heal. And all that does is means they throw a lot of cooldowns into a tank, and then Showmaker gets isolated, and then Keen's like, wait, why isn't he dying?
Yeah.
Tank is here. And then on the other end, unfortunately for aiming and King, and there are a lot of low health bars, and a lot of summoners used, but no real opportunities. But now, with those sums advantages, I think DK can turn that into Infernal Soul Point. As
They
long
should be able to.
they should be.
Note the should.
Yeah,
The should exists.
It's there.
In the sentence. They should be able to. By the way, it is Tank is here in terms of the grass, but he's actually just going full AP build, so no tank items.
Yeah.
Outside of Merc Trades, I guess, but
I wonder
pretty
if
standard.
maybe he just goes Leandri's, like Leandri's, Nashers, and then Abyssal. Like, that combo is insane in terms of DPS. Is Gen G just going to give up the Infernal Soul Point?
I believe they say we can't fight.
That is a big risk. Like, Chovy, obviously he has his wall. I feel like if DK just started up, though, like, get mid and then run towards that dragon. Oh,
And
man,
they're going to get the mid-tier one.
Valdez.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty huge.
Wait, they do need to start it, though. Okay, we know Chovy's top. He doesn't have TP. That's gonna. I think Gen. Don't get me wrong. I think Gen G's making the right call. I was just worried about DK actually doing it, and they are.
I'm not sure why Keen is watching them do it. He He's not going to steal it on Cassante. There is Infernal Soul points given over to the side of D plus Kia. Chovy getting some value in the top lane, but not going to feel nearly as good as what DK are getting, as the wall is going to come down, but they just move away. But it is going to secure mid-tier 1 here for Gen G as well.
So Gen G in the extended trade end up getting 2 turrets. I don't, like, that's as good as a trade as I'm going to get. I do think credit to Gen G for going for that, but it's still not going to leave you feeling super satisfied. Infernal Soul on champions like Zeri, on champions like Lethality Aatrox, as if he doesn't two-shot people already.
Well, he's looking to do that to Canyon. Canyon hops away. And there's a Talia in the vicinity. Chovy has been doing a great job of making his presence felt, but look at this, Lahen's caught out on the left side! He's gonna wild growth himself and try to run away.
Slowed.
Slow comes down and he is dead. Flash on in from aiming. He is not messing around. A Showmaker gets the pick on the pace, but they can't get to the back line. Lucid pretty low as Keen trying to do to Kagan. Will not go down. Finally gets taken out, but they have not dealt with Showmaker or aiming, who are still on the chase. Canyon looks like he is totally going to be left out here. And right? Okay.
Yeah, he's dead.
Down he goes. They give the kill to Showmaker.
I think they try to give the kill to aiming, and they're like, let's take him down. We need to make sure.
The D+ fans, they're beginning to believe the gold is still even, but these fights are looking pretty good so far.
And that's testament to Gen G actually trading up so heavily in the turrets. But this fight, DK, it's Lucid that starts off the engage, but it's the work done by the rest of the team. Making sure Kingen in particular doesn't even have Infernal Soul. Aiming, making sure that he doesn't step too far forward, even with the kiting, and Showmaker delivering pace. Yes, he's able to stay alive for a little bit, but that Profane Hydra, man, absolutely nuts there.
Pace stepped into that. He's like, I'm going to kill this guy right now. And Kingen was just a bit faster. Gets the drain tanking and survives.
Showmaker gets his grass stack, gets his kill. And even though this fight didn't lead to an objective, Gen G still has a lead when it comes to gold. They have an incredibly well-scaling composition, but I really want to reiterate the importance of momentum in a game 5 of a best of 5 that you were expected to stomp. You were expected to win. Yeah. You've gone to
vibes aside.
Yeah, you've gone to maximum amount of games already, and in this game, I think really only, like, Keen's doing fine, but he hasn't really been a big actor in this one. Only Chovy feels like he is approaching his normal level. Canyon hasn't found any big angles. The bot lane struggles are right in front of us, and well, what else can we do then? Maybe just start Nash. Right?
You could.
It's fine. Force a mistake.
They do have vision control over that pit at the moment. I do feel like DK are just being a bit more proactive. They're finding better angles, and they're the ones engaging, which is always going to feel good, especially for their comp that doesn't necessarily have a lot of engage, but has a lot of chase down, has a lot of long-term sustained damage in long team fights. So it's been looking good for them so far, but still feels like anybody's game. This could still go the way of Game 3, where it looked like DK were great and aiming was really fed, and they were kind of farming Gen G until the Elder fight.
That's the big thing here. There is still a ton of punish potential available here for Gen G with a single overstep. And if DK ever commit to a fight and don't actually kill, it's they know. They gotta know.
They gotta know, right? No, they don't quite know! As Canyon shows up big, but the damage is not taken out aiming. They finally get it done. As Showmaker, he needs to be the carry now, but Chovy's in the back line. The damage is being done, but look at Kingen flashing on top of the Talia. Might be able to do it. Keen is going insane mode in that back line himself, and the knockup comes in from Chovy to seal the deal on the team fight.
That's a team fight win there for Gen G. Chovy doing absolutely ungodly amounts of damage. I don't even know if it matters. Outside of the cooldowns being used, I don't think either team can take an objective here.
And we reset.
And this is big, because this is Canyon is flash gone for the upcoming fight. The fact that aiming doesn't die immediately.
They know they're not doing Baron, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why did they push check?
I don't know. Maybe they thought that they could flash out of it. And again here, the big difference maker is King and doing so much damage in this fight. For the side of DK, even with aiming getting already taken out, Tank is here also being able to scoop everyone up to buy some much necessary time than Chovy. As mentioned, sitting on 2 items already, doing a whole lot. And now for DK, are they going to choose to contest this dragon nonetheless. Try and get to the soul. Are they just going to leave it be? Maybe run towards Baron, which is very much in vision control of Gen G.
Yeah, I mean, the extra burst damage from the Infernal Soul could make a big difference in terms of who's going to win this game. The individual Infernal Drakes are a little bit less so, but D+, I think you're in a position to, if you get King in on a flank,
Chovy.
maybe go for this, but
He knows. And DK,
they don't have the position.
Yeah, well, maybe, okay, Lucid doesn't get over the wall, but I realistically don't think that he ever steals that with the amount of CC that's available. There is no vision control here outside of this one ward for DK. King, he doesn't have TP. King doesn't have
They're just going to start it.
He spotted them vision. Absolutely, they should.
Well, now
Absolutely,
they
they should.
Now they have vision. Can they do this fast enough? Is really the next question. And
Are we going to
slowly
flip?
but surely,
There is a rail. It's not really a flip.
he's going to put his nose in there. We do have a wall that is put down. The Glacial Prison gone, and now the engage coming over the wall, aiming into that back line. Excellent dash away and flash from this one, and now the chase comes in. Chovy in a lot of trouble. The Moonlight Vigil does nothing, and now Kingin is going to be grabbed over the wall, and Showmaker out, and Showmaker makes the play, gets over the wall, but now he's going to go down.
Aiming's alive though.
And once again, we reset. It's 3v3, and nobody can do the Baron.
Nothing happens.
Nobody can do the Baron. Okay.
A game 5 for the Aegis Valdez, as aiming does so much damage here. DK, a lot of their issues nowhere to be found in this one. They're decisive. They play out these fights. Aiming, flashing away there, ensuring that he's actually able to get away. Chovy, as you point out, Moonlight Vigil not doing anything. Chovy being kept alive for so long thanks to the work of Lahans. And then Keen actually killing King. It looks like that's the turnaround. And then Showmaker with that shuffle ends up making sure that, again, neither team gets a decisive edge in any of these fights.
You can see Genji were, take a look at the goal difference graph.
Axis.
We've been between
2K
2,100 gold the entire game.
God. A game 5 that isn't a blowout?
It's crazy. And I'm glad that we've had a lot of fights like that as well that have been so back and forth, because sometimes it goes one fight and it ends. That has not been the case this time.
Keen is doing, heard me talking earlier, I think, some good old-fashioned Kasanteing.
Yeah.
In this one. Lord Doms is now done for aiming. That should help with actually taking down Keen. Crippling also there for Showmaker.
Lord Dom's close here for the set of A's. And that'll help him chew through everybody.
Last player standing.
What
We
in
do
the
know once
fuck?
these crit 80 carries get online at like 3, 4 items especially, get an IE online, you're beginning to pump some huge numbers. So just hoping he can get there. I mean, Paze has already died 5 times in this game.
Still somehow is up a level on aiming. I'm not sure how that one works. Also
Down on farm, down on...
yeah, has item parity.
Yeah. So Chovy's just bot, but he is Talia. And he's level 16, so that wall basically is the whole map. Not quite, but it does go from one lane to another lane pretty easily.
Wonder if DK want to opt into a trade in about a minute and a half, where they just end up going and take the soul and then let the Baron go. Gen G, though, they don't want to let it get to that far. They have control of the pit.
Yeah, there is vision of this. They do know this is happening. As DK, once again, they threaten a fight. Wall is going to come down. Chovy is safe. The ult goes wide, and Gen G will pick up the Baron. Here comes aiming on the follow-up, though. The flank comes in from Kingin. Not the best flank, as now Canyon going in alone. The massive damage in that backline. They don't get off the pace, though, as Showmaker stopped in his traps, and he will not get a significant knock-up. And now aiming has to do it 1v4. He might be able to. They might just be able to, and he gets over the wall. They know they're down a member. Gen G, they're going to win the fight barely, and they get the Baron. Still a bit on the chase here is Keen, just threatening slowly onto aiming.
That should also be the second dragon going over to Gen G. Starting to stack these as TP comes in. They want to contest. There's no smite. Lucid actually has an earlier smite. Maybe DK gets the trade off to roll.
Last player standing.
At this point, anything could happen, and I would believe, if possible,
we're taking a look at this. Baron gets burst down so quickly, loses all the complete whiff. So it's when aiming goes in, tries to do as much damage as possible, but Keen zoning, doing such a good job with him. The engage only doesn't end the fight immediately because of the counterplay from Kingen. Then here, Pace, the fact that he stays out alive, the value of the Talia E, absolutely huge, buys the crucial time. But Zeriyumi in the late game.
Never underestimate them.
I think that DK should probably still let this one go. We'll see if they are trying to look for a contest nonetheless. But with Kingen, no TP, and forward stop side, not going to happen. They're just going to try and run out this Baron timer.
All right. And, man, Gen G, they must feel pretty good about the way things went, all things considered. I mean, you get a Baron, you get another Infernal. Now you've got this wall coming up here. And looking to catch out Lucid, kind of an awkward spot for him. He is going to be 100-0'd. And that giant Cassante, nobody can shoot through that. And here comes the push. They still have the Baron buff for a minute.
Might even try to look for the ends. Aiming does have his flash available. They have McKills. Is it enough though? Kingen doesn't have a Surreal Dust yet. We'll see if Genji wants to run the risk, because if you overextend here, end up getting wiped, counter punch could be lethal. Not gonna risk it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could like push in one more wave.
Yeah, how do you know I'm fucking there? You're so pathetic. I can't believe it.
Set up for the next fight.
How?
As Chovy again, just having an incredible game here in this game 5. Finds Lucid with the knockback. There's no Lulu ult available, not really anything that they can do with the flash already used by Lucid in that last fight.
Today, not tomorrow, not ever.
And finally, for the first time, we see the biggest jump in gold. The Red Bull Baron power play has been about 3,500 gold in favor of Gen G. And they're slowly stacking up the Infernal Drakes. Pays is getting online. He's almost got that IE, which is going to be a big tipping point. Chovy, though, most damage in the game by a decent margin as well.
Again,
the walls have just been game-changing.
well, every time that Lucid uses his Q to run away, that's like the third time we've seen Chovy do that. Actually so oppressive here with the Talia wall. Morello's for him as well to try and keep King down.
And Davey.
Very good point.
He's got a Yumi on his back. Redemption, you know. I think it's just
Gales.
good in general. He's got the only Leandries on the team will extend the
Double as well.
Woo. And still the game isn't over.
Oh no.
It just feels like Gen G have finally been the first team to take the step in the winning direction. They have an inhibitor down.
I have them
And they're
now.
going to set up something up here in the top.
One inhibitor also will be down when Baron spawns, so if they can start chaining these together and slowly chip away at the inhibs, could be really big. These type of positions though, this is dangerous. We've seen teams lose, being disrupted. Look at the vision control here for Gen G. Immaculate. No TP wards. No way that DK can somehow find an angle in. Not going to be given any opportunity. And it's now a 6k gold lead here for Gen G.
Yeah. Just holding on. Lucid trying to do his best to clear out some of the vision. But really, it's just going to come down to the way the next team fight does play out.
Yeah.
That DK wants to fight for. Quick blades, finish or aiming, Infinity Edge here for Pays. And it slowly but surely becomes a bit of a game of AD carry. And who is going to catch the enemy one.
Chovy also about to hit the Flame Horizon here, 2 levels up as a result on Showmaker. Lucid and Kane both very low level, understandably. Really basically just glorified supports. Keen, though, and that's big, a level up. Kingen still doesn't have a Surreal Dust. Really wants to get that. See if, wait, what happened there? He was sitting on a Coalfields as well, if I'm not
Why
mistaken.
didn't you just go?
There.
Wonder what happened there for
God,
Kingen.
you guys
Well,
are
it's gone now.
killing me.
Yeah,
man.
Sure. As I think maybe the Protect
Yeah.
are talking about it as well. That is
Not sure how he managed that.
like did he?
Oh, well,
There you go.
Just gonna buy it. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
Has the item.
everything is fine.
Everything is totally fine. No problem at all.
That's not. It's like, yeah, he didn't have the damage, so they lost the final fight. That's not the ending this this series deserves, Valdez.
Absolutely. Infernal Drake in 44. Baron now. Baron just spawns. And the amount of damage you have with this Aphelios and 4 items is just disgusting. You can just start it. There's no vision here. They get a trinket in, and DK say no. We don't want to fight over this.
The problem is because the wave in top isn't shoved in. Like, the rather is shoved in for Gen.G. Gen.G can just rotate towards top. They don't actually need to hard commit for this soul, but it looks like with the TP, DK are going to try and make it work. Pace taking a lot of poke already.
Yeah, already taking a bit as they're going to go all in onto Lucid. That's not the target. The Moonlight Vigil is pretty good, though. Redemption does come in, aiming getting extremely low on that backside. Oh, the knockup comes in on the King, and he's flashing away. He knows what it means if he gets caught, but the Cassante, you can't get away from him, and down will go King, and the team just will not commit on the side of DK. They're just going to give another Drake over to the side of Gen.G.
Aiming's too low. There's no way that's going to be for a Drake going over. Oh, if they come back, they might just be able to end up with this.
They can't back. Showmaker totally caught here.
No!
Flash Polymorph, he is done for.
Is that it?
That might just be it. Unfortunately, this game might just be decided by this series of plays in a row. Lucid is on the run.
Oh, what an anticlimactic end that will be. Lucid trying to clear the wave there, but the TP doesn't let him. Oh, they're going to try and go for a Hail Mary. Try and look. But I don't know if you're going to actually be able to get one. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Zeri's still alive, but
34 seconds. I don't know if they can hold here. That might just be it.
Seen Zeri Yuumi do some crazy things in my life, but I don't think that it can do this one. 8 seconds on Kingen. Do you have enough time? Do you have enough wave clear to make it through and survive? Pays moving forward. Keen trying to tank up now, just going to assassinate onto the Zeri. But now, here comes Kingen, and the flash away is going to do it. Kingen had to flash away in the last fight. And now aiming. He's alive. He's still trying to stay this one, but it's not going to matter. The Nexus goes down, and Gen.G will win game number 5.
A thriller going all the way to multiple soul points to an incredible build-up. And then a bit of a letdown on the climax as the fight is just a complete wash. Gen.G find the angle in that final one.
Well,
but they made them work for it, Valdez.
They absolutely did. I feel like DK, a little bit of history coming back to bite them. We've seen that happen before. But Gen.G, the team we all expected to win, they win in the end. It wasn't the cleanest victory. And Kia certainly made it interesting, but a win is a win, as they say. They move on to the next round. They move on to the upper side of the brackets. And they guarantee themselves at least lower finals. They will make it to that final stage.
Chovy and Keen, to me, in that final game, absolutely took the team on their back. Spot lane still struggling. Hayes really not having a great series here today. Lance to a lesser extent as well. But it didn't matter at all, as that doesn't stop Lance from showing his fun side, obviously. For DK, they weren't even supposed to be here. Everyone but Jonas Strong predicted that it was going to be KT. We were in unanimous agreement. The fact that it went to a Game 5 in the first place is insane, but in the end, it's Gen.G doing it again.
Gen.G, they get the job done. I do wonder how the other teams feel about Gen.G after the series. DK kind of making them bleed a couple of games. You know, a bit of a wonky draft in game number 2, maybe a bit disrespectful, but they get the victory. They're going to have to regroup for the upper bracket, see who they do go up against between T1 and Homolife Esports, which will be played tomorrow. As I mentioned, the winner of that will face off against Gen.G, who won today. So we'll take a look at some of the highlights of this Game 5.
Wonder who will pick up POG as well, between Chovy and King. Feel like they were the standouts. Chovy's early game, absolutely immaculate, had such a big impact, but a lot of these team fights, I think it was King, his consistent damage that really was a difference maker with pace. Very often getting swept up in situations like this, really able to make his mark here today. The amount of near-death escapes that were made from King and his Aatrox as well were something that I think DK is going to look back at and be like, oh, we were so close, but a lot of teams have gone close against Gen.G. Not been able to actually make it happen.
Yeah. See some of the fights DK feeling pretty good about, but Genji barely able to turn them around.
One enemy
Keen,
remaining.
I think he would be my vote. I don't know. I mean, Chovy did so much in the early game, but Keen's team fighting was actually insane. Like, actually immaculate.
Yeah, it's
30 seconds left.
The amount of knockups, the amount of perfect all-outs, like the amount of tanking in the front line.
Oh
and
my God, bro! What are
just
you doing?
the way he plays his Cassante and team fights it's back-breaking for any team that has to deal with it. And some of them, especially this fight, you know, this wasn't the
Now
greatest
you're
fight.
just making
DK
a fucking
obviously
fool of yourself.
kind of want to forget about
10
this one
seconds
probably
left.
for the lower bracket match that they will have to play in.
I think it's going to be a tough one to forget, but I do agree with you because, again, I think today, obviously, you would have much rather taken the win, but should still be seen as a really big glow-up. DK, this team was a disjointed mess. Like a month and a half ago, we've gotten very far, but Gen G, with some of the members not quite performing today, still pulls through.
See what they saying focus the Zeri. He's just like, they're just saying end it. Most why was that so hard? Why was that so difficult? And Canyon seemed like the most happy. Everybody else was just relieved. They were like, oh God, okay. And I feel like for Canyon, that was like the one game where he really kind of made his mark. You know, he wasn't the main character, but he had some really nice rail angles. So
I could see a Jonah Strong Canyon vote, and I would get it. And you know, I'm also kind of like, whoa, that was a roller coaster. Oh, that was a series and a half.
no KT needed, I
Spike
guess.
down A.
Yeah, win to game 5. Interesting ending to that one, but Gen G end up with the victory at the end of the day regardless. 3-2 in this one. We will have the full team interview after their victory, but first up, we do have the space on the way, so let's throw it over to Atlas, Huni, and Wolf to break down that series.
Oh my God, what is my
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great work on the day. All 5 games. Absolutely incredible stuff from you guys, but also incredible stuff from Gen G. And it all began with a draft. So, Huni, Wolf, take us through it. What did we have for our game number 5?
Well, it was a series, obviously, where Pays and Lehens looked a little bit uncomfortable throughout the series. Right? We spent a lot of time talking about that on the space here. The casters spent a lot of time talking about it. These players just not playing to their best, and they went back to an old class. The Aphelios Lulu, Denial Lulu from aiming, so he doesn't have that extra power, doesn't have that extra survivability. Really like this tech coming through here from Gen G. And then we see the Aatrox coming through from Kingen. I almost wanted to put a box on it just because it was so pivotal in that it felt like
what
this
is that
the moment where
fucking
Kingen's
angle?
like,
How
it's
can
time,
you
I'm
see
playing
me
the
and I can't
Aatrox.
see
This
you?
is for everything.
Fuck's
And I felt like
sakes.
these drafts really showcased the core of what both these two teams wanted to do and what their identities really are as
Last player
squads.
standing.
Talia finally
God,
coming
it's
through
so
here. Chovy.
bad, bro. So
He
bad.
controlled the early game, he controlled the mid game, he controlled
Fuck.
the late game. It was all Chovy in this 5th one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gen G just prepared like the different way to approach like for game 5, especially like
That
as you
fucking
kind of mentioned is like the bottom was kind of struggling, especially today's series. So I think it's going for the Talia, and it's like as soon as they hit the level 6, it's moving towards the bottom. Like it actually helps so much for the bottom, and even I think it's like if the other hand is on the DK, it's like they chose the Azir this time, and which is like this is like it was like it's like more passive pick, I would say. Like that's not the like they really wanted to do, and it's like it was like really tough to actually help a bottom, especially when they're playing Zeri Yubi and also top also playing the Aatrox, which is they're all like kind of slow starter. And this game it was like really, I mean the early game wasn't like it wasn't too bad. It's just like I think it's just really the same thing. Just hit the middle game and then there's a macro playing. The just basic structure was just Gen G was kind of bad.
They were, but the game was extraordinarily close.
I fucking can't see anything. What's going on, bro? Game is so fucked.
See Gen G finally make
So
their way out on
fucked.
top.
Oh
There were
God,
definitely
it's
a
so
few
fucked.
moments in this extended skirmish where we definitely thought we could have seen better ultimate from Showmaker than what he ended up
enemy
using. He
remaining.
held it. We were like, no, send it back to aiming, send it back to
It's
Kingen.
I see 3 people there. He could have kind of flashed on the left or like space is
Spike
better on the
down A.
more to the left. And before he get Cassante ulti, I think it would have been better to actually use the ult and I think would have been pretty good angle for Diploskia.
We saw a lot of hesitation from Showmaker in this 5th game, and he's not the type of player who really gets nervous under pressure. He's been in so many of these that I'm a little bit surprised by it, and I think the pressure of this series really got to him where his teammate Canyon on the other side is the only one who's elated because he's like, oh, it's been a long time. Like, I actually did advance. Like, I am going to the upper bracket finals. Like, I'm actually moving in that direction, and on the other side, you know, you're feeling like, okay, Showmaker's like, it's been a while, Canyon's taken away from me, and this is my 5th game, it's super important, I could be the playmaker on this year. And he did hit a lot of big ultimates, but they weren't the ones that were game-changing, unfortunately.
Yeah, just unfortunately didn't quite work out. And when I saw the Sejuani pick, I was actually feeling like maybe we're going to get like the Silas, the Yasuo. We saw the Kassadin was banned away. And I did feel like the fact that Chovy manages to get this Talia, and we saw in the damage graph at the end there, was so incredibly impactful on the pick as well. Maybe Twisted Fate didn't need to be banned, but it's a little bit of hindsight, and to be perfectly honest, DK did keep the game extraordinarily close. Let's go into our second highlight here, which was the back-breaking moment.
Yeah, it's at the Baron pit. Like, I think Genji, they were actually just kind of pulled out the Baron fight there, and it's like using ulti there. It's like really, really good, nice. And they actually kind of had to jump in, and being actually using the Zeri, it caused the Zeri flash there. I mean, you just use a dash there, and it's like just the disengaging timing was just perfect. It was really great.
Big launch forward there from Chovy onto aiming, and then the turn here as well from Genji is very clean. Keen absorbing a lot of the pressure here, and the Showmaker's ultimate again just used for disengage here very late. Could have tried to use it, maybe cut the team in half with the front line. Pays' positioning also very good in this fight, never really under any threat, even though he did end up taking a little bit of damage in aiming's engage. He was mostly okay there, and Chovy, he just was the front door basically the whole time, putting the wall up. You can't step this close to me or you will be shoved into my entire team every single time. So consistent on the Talia.
He was absolutely amazing. Let's see whether he's the one that picks up the POG or whether it might be a certain gentleman with a Shuriman on the top side. No, it will not. Not Rob. This time around, 8-2 and 8, 935 DPM. Chovy was pretty inevitable in this game.
I mean, it's pretty easy to call. Like, even before this actually play, like, he was already bottom one time, and it's just been helping bottom like already like more than 2 times, and just already just going through the lane, just already having more CS than the Azir just as a Talia. It's just already really crazy. Side lane play, just using the ulti uses this game, just really good.
I mean, I think if he doesn't play the early game and the late game as well as he does, D+ actually advance. And I think when you look at this, it's season MVP, all-pro first mid, right? Most POG points of the season. The guy just continues to deliver. LCK's hero, you know, and Genji's hero especially as well.
Yep, Keen picking up a few stray votes there as well, and we're not even going to be mean to the media for that one because he had an absolutely extraordinary performance this time around. But let's have a look at the prediction results as 3-2 for Genji was predicted by Chronicler and Pony alone. Very impressive stuff. I was actually feeling like I was being crazy putting a 1 next to it. But that was yesterday, and I should have realized that 3-2 is always inevitable when it comes to D+ and Genji. And now it is time for the interview. So, Dear, thank you very much for the translation.
Thank you very much. This is Dear for the post-match interview translation with Genji after their victory against Kia in playoffs round 2. Congratulations!
네, 오늘 정말 쉽지 않았던 승리였던 만큼 차근차근히 제가 이야기를 좀 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 기인 선수 만나보도록 하겠습니다.
First off,
기인
Keen.
선수 오늘 정말 혈전이었습니다.
Keen, it was such a bloody match. It was a win-loss, win-loss, win series. How does it feel to advance to the upper bracket? It was a best of 5 after such a long time. Yeah, reaching the silver scrapes and after such a tough battle, it's rewarding, but it was very hard.
1세트 특패로 활약하시면서 POG를 받아가시기도 했습니다.
With the TF play in Game 1, you were selected as a POG, and you were actually undefeated on top with TF with 6 wins. So in the current meta, when is a good time to pick top TF? I can't really go into details, but I'm pretty confident with the playing Twisted Fate in general, and it really goes well with how the team plays. So I think that's how we ended up with the TF picks. And you kept banning Kingan's recent pick, Rek'Sai, and adjusted your pick at top. Do you think the top Rek'Sai ban was effective? Yeah, we saw how Kingdon was so good with Rek'Sai. But to be honest, I can't really say that it was super effective. I think we're just gonna have to prepare well for the next match. And in the pre-show, the topic of discussion was what Rek'Sai's counter is, and we actually mentioned Urgot. So what was the decision based on? How did it feel? I feel like it's just some pick. It can be a pick that we can always come up with, and I think you always have to consider it as a counter. And there's just one last step left. If you win the upper bracket, you get to advance to finals for the first time in 6 years. So what is your resolution?
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, it's been such a long time since I haven't advanced, and I pretty much forgot how it feels. So I want to make sure that I prepare well to make sure that we advance to the upper bracket. And Canyon, after game 5, we heard you say, "Why is it so hard? How does it feel to win?" I'm very happy that we were able to win. I can definitely say that whenever I get to the playoffs, I end up in a spot where we go to game 5, which is quite surprising.
Why did no big OB?
And of course, oh, it looks like the fan sign says, "No personal feelings, Canyon." And
What do you
Showmaker,
do?
yeah, he actually declared war, saying, "Canyon, I'm coming to kill you." You saw that, right? Yes. So what was your preparation like?
Spike down mid.
Yeah, I definitely really wanted to win today after hearing him. And we prepared very hard. And you were against the rookie Lucid. And we noticed that the opponent was trying to utilize Vi. So how was it? Vi definitely is very tough to deal with when it comes to supplementing bot lane. And I think we thought, oh yeah, it would make the match a lot easier if we banned Vi. It would be the first time after 2 years that you would head over to the finals. So what is your resolution? I want to make sure that we make it to the finals since it's been a while. So we'll make sure to work hard. And next up will be Chovy. Chovy, All-Pro First Team regular season MVP, player of the split. Of course, you showed such an amazing performance today. How do you feel?
What is he doing there? These
It was a
kids
close game
play
today.
so fucking
I'm really glad that we were
goofy.
able to win.
Such a goofy asses.
So it seems like you guys always get a close game against D plus Kia. Of course, we reached Silver Scrapes, so how was the game today? Against D plus Kia, we've always went 2-1 or 3-2. And so it didn't really feel any special going to game 5. And I had a very positive mindset, I would say, because I said, well, even if we go to game 5, we can win. And in game 3, you picked Corki against Ari. And in game 5, you picked Talia and roamed and displayed such great performance and received 2 POGs. So how did you prepare against the Showmaker?
I'm the last thing they'll see before they
I feel like we're really good at the read on the matchup and the tier list. And we just told ourselves that as long as we're wary of the comfort picks and some of the cheese picks that D plus Kia might come up with, that nothing wrong will go. Nothing would go wrong. And who do you think tomorrow, in tomorrow's match, will make it to the upper bracket? It doesn't really matter. I hope that they have a great game. And Paze will be next. How did you feel when you got the decisive edge in game 5. Yeah, I was really happy, and just looking back, I feel like bot lane, we got outplayed, and I'm a little disappointed.
Spike planted. Last
With
player
patch
standing.
14.6, what do you think was key to bot lane? Normally, I feel like teams will ban Varus and Kalista, some aggressive champions. I think it's just what you end up picking as the blind pick matters the most in the end.
Deep breaths, everyone.
It looks like we got all different matchups in all 5 games. So why did you end up with the Aphelios Lulu pick against Seri? I thought that Aphelios is good against Seri. I think that's why we ended up picking Aphelios and Lulu. What kind of performance do you want to show in the upper bracket? Before the match, I was pretty confident about my skills, but I think I found my weakness and something that I lack in today. So I want to make sure that I show an even improved form of myself in the next match. Lastly, let's talk to Lehan. Yeah, can you tell us about the hat that you're wearing here? This is actually not my hat. It's called Tenlang. Please give it a lot of love. You know, I'm wearing this hat from one of the fans, and it feels a little wet. I hope that fan wasn't sweating too much. What is your overall thoughts on today's match?
Match point.
Of course, I have a lot of experience in Best of Fives, and I thought I had enough understanding of it. But in the end, Keen actually told me that I've never lost against T plus Kia, so it gave me a lot of confidence. Well, back then, I wasn't a part of the game, the organization, and I just had full faith of Lehan in his ability to win. Lehan, until last year, you played alongside Amy, and Aiming is well known for his Seri, but you let him play her in game 5. So was it tough facing her at all? No, I know how good Aiming is. I'm happy to see him do so well, but Pace is a...
Alright, I'm done with that post-game. Listen to post-game bullshit.
Dizzy's up! Someone's there. Last player standing.
Alright team, we lost. I'm hopping off. I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.